Yo, welcome to the show. Gather round, listen close. We got George, Brock, and J.A. bringing you the most NFL podcast. It's about to go down. Three amigos ready to run this town. George,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast. I am joined by our always guest, I should say. No, co-host,
Yes.
Georgie K. And we're joined by a special guest
Super
this
sub
week.
Scotty.
Scotty back in the building.
Got a call out. Thanks, boy.
Get around him. Thank
Now
you for the late call up.
I've got to address the elephant in the room straight off the bat about our boy Brocky.
Shout out to Brocky.
So turns out that he only had a 13-month contract when we started the podcast 13 months ago.
We decided not to renew.
No, I wanted to renew. In fairness, like, this is me falling on my sword. I wanted to renew. We couldn't get the paperwork through,
Right.
And tonight he's decided to explore
I
other
heard it was
options
the
with other
50
podcasts.
I heard it was the $50 for fuel that really.
Yes,
did
it was. That was the real kicker. Couldn't get over the line. So we are hoping we can negotiate and get this sorted for the next episode.
We're in heavy negotiations for the next episode.
So as I was told him, I haven't got George involved in the negotiations yet. When that happens, they become aggressive negotiations.
Oh, yes,
and
they
it's
do.
challenging to say no to. So I'm thinking we'll be able to get him over the line in the next week.
Please
or
do,
so.
because as you know, I can be very persuasive. When
Yes,
I
but he's doing some freelancing,
Some
for other
extracurricular
podcasts,
activities.
according to him.
And apparently, the number one podcast has addressed him.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one podcast that he attacked viciously a couple of weeks ago is now on the cards. You know the Al Pacino movie? Remember that one?
Yeah, right. And what they mentioned our podcast
They're
on there.
trying to steal his contract. I don't know. They want to take him. They heard his 13 months was up. I was like, of all the people to take, why aren't you taking me?
Is there a door of theirs that I can go and knock on? Or?
Yeah, we're gonna have to fly to Sydney.
Oh.
We'll do it.
I think it's worth it.
They aren't taking our boy Brock.
That's fine. No. I'll fly to the ends of the earth for my boy Brock.
Yes.
Don't worry about that.
And I think it's fair to say that was all a lie. Brock will be back. He got last minute tickets to the soccer game at the MCG tonight or whatever.
Oh, is that where he is?
Yeah.
He was a late
Okay.
withdrawal.
All right, late scratching. That's fine. We can
So
deal with that.
we've bought in Scotty for our NFC
Super sub.
roundabout.
And I have not prepared.
You have prepared.
I
You're
have
lying
prepared.
to everyone. I prepared and I printed it out today.
Wow.
I don't know why I did it like that.
Freshly typed up on
Who the fuck still has a printer in
yeah,
there?
Microsoft 95.
Work. That's the only place I have a printer.
Yeah, shit.
So I got it on there on Google Docs.
I wrote something and emailed it to myself like a real player.
I like that.
I've just gone into the notes.
No, it's the tea that's saying, oh, what the fuck? Oh, I don't know. Sorry, boys.
What we do have is Brock has sent a couple of voice clips. So
Oh,
when we do each of our teams, obviously Scotty's a Seattle man. I'm Dallas and George is the Eagles. He sent a voice clip that I haven't heard for when we do each of those teams.
in reference to each of those
In reference
teams.
to each of those teams.
Has
When
he
we do
named
those,
them for you?
So you know,
yes, he did
Okay,
because
good.
he sent one blindly, and I'm like, now I got to listen to it to know what team. And he's like, all right, cool, that's
Yeah.
Cowboys.
right? Okay.
So,
So it'll be like he's with us in spirit.
yes,
Oh, I like that.
This is-
Thank you, Brock.
but also fuck him. Wednesday nights for podcasts, not for soccer.
Yeah, true.
Okay, all right.
Let the man.
I was
go.
going to give him fuckwit of the week, but
Is that a new
unfortunately,
segment?
That's not a segment on our show.
No, I
is that
made
a
it
new
up.
segment?
I've added it in.
It could easily be. I'd like that.
It'd
Can
be
we do
very
that?
easy to do in the NFL.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the
Ray
person who
Rice.
took it this week was our man Harrison Butker.
Hey, come on.
We've been waiting to talk about
We
Harrison.
have been waiting to talk about it. Hang on. Fuckwit's very strong. That's very strong.
Let's just start with basically what he said.
Hang on a minute.
You do it because you've listened to it in depth.
I watched. Did you guys watch the whole
Yes,
speech?
yes.
I watched. I didn't listen to it in depth. I just
No.
watched the fucking thing from start to finish, which
Yep.
I'm sure 98% of the fucking media that are reporting on it
Happened.
probably didn't. They
Yes.
probably just took. Because we all have the attention spans of fucking chihuahuas now, and
Yes.
they probably took a 15-second clip and wrote a 40-minute fucking think piece on a 15-second
Yeah.
clip,
Yep.
which is pretty standard for the media today, anyway.
Mhm.
Basically, he was as a faithful Christian man asked by a Christian university in Kansas where he lives and works to give a graduation speech, and he accepted, and he went and he spoke about Christian values and his Christian faith and how he felt his Catholic and Christian ideologies have helped him and helped his family, and how he based a lot of his success both professionally and socially to his Christian values. I have no issue with that at all.
No, I think there was a couple of unnecessary things like read the room. Don't say that women are surrounded by delusion. He said they were getting driven by like a delusional value.
No, he said that they were being lied to.
lied to.
They'd been
yes.
lied to.
I think
They'd been lied to by society as a whole.
that they need to do
that
this
they
sort of-
need to, that they have to, and that if
Yes.
they don't, they're less than. That's what he
Yes.
said.
But in saying that, he also said that you should just be life. That was using, and then he took an absolute unnecessary cheap shot at the gay community when he said that he's gonna celebrate with pride and the right sort of pride, not the fake sort of pride. Which I was like, dude,
That's a bit
No. He didn't say
Yeah,
right. He didn't say right. He said sinful.
sinful. That's it.
Oh,
Because
that makes
pride-
it so much
but
better.
you've got to
Because pride,
understand,
no,
he's a religious man.
in their religion, in the Christian religion, pride is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, this is
That's
also
what
a
he's
dude
referenced
that
to.
it's now come out that at college he fucked dudes.
Yeah.
That was my biggest.
The D
like,
lineman. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was having sex.
You
with
can't have
men.
both sides.
And then he went to like a camp, like he went and got brainwashed to not be gay anymore. Which is like whatever. Each to their own.
Whatever.
All said and done, I don't think there was.
No, because the majority of the media
would
reported.
I said it. No.
Yeah,
I
but
can
you're
keep-
not a faithful
No.
Catholic
Christian.
Christian
And this is
person.
this is the issue I have with faithful classic Christian people is that they feel the need to fucking tell you how.
But
you
he's
should
not
do
telling
things.
you. He's telling another big room full
Yes,
of Catholic
he
people.
was just preaching his theories and beliefs.
Yeah,
Now the
So,
issue,
like,
but he wasn't. But he was doing that to a group
A group.
of like-minded
massive
people.
group.
A massive group of like-minded people. He
Yep.
wasn't at like a gay pro-abortion rally
Yeah.
trying to convert them to Christianity.
True.
He was speaking to a large group of Christian people saying, hey, this is what we think, this is what we believe, this is what we should do.
Yep.
And if you actually look at the speech, a lot of what he said in that speech, I agree with, that women shouldn't feel like they have to work if they don't want to.
No.
I don't have an issue with women being homemakers and being stay-at-home mums.
And
Being
you-
a stay-at-home mum is fucking way harder than working any fucking job
And
anyway,
your
in my opinion.
missus works full time.
Yeah, 100% she does.
It's a like I
Is that
think
against
that-
your will or?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Sorry, wrong podcast. Sorry.
She's free to do whatever she wants.
But this is the thing. I just
And
think,
he went on to mention that the majority of Western society's problems come down to the fact that he actually didn't put the torch to women. He actually praised women.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said that the things he was saying were misogynistic. But if you actually listen to it properly, he was actually praising women for their role in society and their role in the home.
Yeah.
And where he actually put the torch, he actually put the torch on men and saying that the reason Western society is falling in real time, which is what it is because men are not real men and we're not doing our job properly as husbands, as fathers, as protectors, as providers, and that men in general need to be better. That's what he said. And nobody in the fucking media mentioned that.
no,
at all. That was not mentioned at all.
They only took the knife. To
They took that 15-second clip and said that he's misogynistic and he's
Yeah.
a lot of. Do I agree with everything he said? I agree with almost none of what he said.
Yeah.
But he should. What I agree with is that he should be allowed to say it.
Thank you. And that's my whole point. And we can go as recently, we can take just the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole, right? They had Tyreek Hill, who was punching the fucking shit out of his
Literally
broke his kid's arm.
Literally
well, either him or his
beating-
wife did. No one knows.
Literally beating his
they were
family
both
members.
lying for each other. So
Yeah.
either they're lying for their partner bashing their child, and
Which is
breaking
just as
their
bad.
arm, which is just as bad.
Yeah.
Because that's like your
Accessory to-
you're abetting. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
because he's a good player, they were like, "Cool, he's cool to say." Almost there was a bit of heat on him, and that was it. There was
If
never
he was a
talk of
fourth-string
cutting him.
wide receiver, he'd be in jail
Rasheed Rice still hasn't been cut. You know why? Because he's good.
because he's good. That's right.
Henry Ruggs in 18 months' time or 26
He'll get another
months' time,
contract somewhere.
He will be back in the
Guaranteed.
NFL. The
'Cause
only
he's good.
reason Ray Rice didn't get back in the NFL was because he was on
26.
camera and he was shit at that point.
He was over the hill. Correct.
He wasn't even
over the
good
hill.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
If he was still a superstar,
If he's still Pro Bowl level Ray Rice, he'd be on. He would have been on. He would have been on a team.
Kareem Hunt kicked a chick. Who signed him? The Chiefs.
Yep.
So now all this out, like we're hearing more about Harrison Butker talking calmly, politely, and respectfully, except for the gay thing. That was a cheap shot.
Yeah, but
which-
you got to understand that in their religion,
It's not.
It's
I get it.
it's extremely frowned upon to be gay,
exactly. And I think
and,
But
and that's
there's also-
okay. And that's okay for him to have that belief.
it
Yeah,
is.
Just
But
like
I
it's
think
We
okay
don't
for
have to
you to be
agree
gay.
with it, but we don't exactly.
I
Just
think
like
it's okay.
It's okay for you to be gay, but it's also okay for you not to be gay. It's also okay for you not to want or condone it. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I think-
people can have their varying beliefs. Like you can have your belief, I can have my belief. Just because my belief is different to yours doesn't mean that you have to jump down my throat and I have to jump down yours.
It's not like he's at
I
a
think
gay
he can
rally
have-
bashing up
I
gay
think
people
he can
because he
have
disagrees.
his
Like,
beliefs, but when they're so strong against a very political discussion, like gays and women and all that sort of stuff. At the moment.
LBQT plus.
Yeah,
I think that's all of them.
when he's got a position of power because he's a professional athlete, that some things need to be unsaid. So he can believe certain things, but maybe not say it. Even if he's talking to other Christians, maybe it's not something that needs to be said
Well, I think in his mind when
Publicly.
he rehearsed
Respectfully, I disagree with that because I think that's a large part of our problem in society is that there's like we feel like we can't say things.
That'd be the
So
same
as a result, things like
if we went to
slide.
the gay pride rally and went, you guys aren't allowed to do this. You're not allowed to have a gay pride rally. That's the same thing. That was just his straight Christian pride rally. That's what you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, why can't he say what he wants? I agree. I didn't agree with almost any of it. Some of the things I did, like I'm as a man attracted to a woman that's a housewife and a homemaker. That's what attracts me to a woman. I think that's an attractive trait.
Yes.
I don't find it attractive if a woman wants to go and work and all that sort of stuff. But that's just me. Like,
correct.
I also don't.
But that's your values.
If my wife turned around tomorrow and said, "Hey, I want to start working full time and doing this and work my way up the executive," I'd be like,
ladder,
cool.
yeah.
I'd be like, go nuts. Where are you going to start? How can I help?
Yep.
But it said you can have your beliefs and there's nothing wrong with that. And the backlash that he's getting over guys like Greg Hardy,
that's one I was going to
threw a
mention.
girl on a bed with all his guns on it and said, "Pick the gun I'm going to kill you with." After bashing her, and the Cowboys signed him 6 months.
Yeah, that's right.
Are we really drawing the line on a guy speaking his opinion? Whether you agree with it or not, he didn't hurt anyone intentionally. He didn't come out and go, "I hate the gays, you're all pieces of shit." Come out and said that I don't agree with it because of my religion and my beliefs.
And that's
so
okay.
You can agree or disagree, but he's allowed to. You're allowed, and from America, which is the freedom of speech country of the fucking world.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally in their constitution.
Yeah,
the only country they think.
It's like, so you're only allowed to have freedom of speech and say the right things
as long as
it's agreed by the rest of the.
As long as everybody agrees.
When it's the cool thing to be saying.
Yeah.
If he'd come up and been like, "Hey, go all you girls, go get jobs. Hey, gays, you do what you want, do it all. I fucking love it."
They'd be singing his praises,
celebrating,
100%.
But instead, he said the opposite of that because that's his beliefs, and now he's talking.
And he actually addressed that in his speech, saying we need to have these. We need to be able to have these hard conversations.
I think if they cut him, and which I don't think they will.
No, they won't.
Why would they cut him?
Because there was speculation they were going to. Like the Kansas City Chiefs tweeted saying the account of the Kansas City Chiefs tweeted
the
saying,
official account,
just letting you know he's actually not from Kansas, so don't hold us accountable. And put the city he lived in. Yeah. And then they had to delete it because he was like, "You've just told him where I fucking live."
Yeah. Wow. Fully doxed him.
If I was him, I'd be going to them, "Fuck you guys. You've just betrayed me. Why couldn't you be like, we support all our players and their beliefs, including Rasheed Rice, who wants to fucking drive."
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like,
freeways.
it's so bizarre, isn't it?
They said, like Rasheed Rice, he's a young guy that made a mistake. Yeah, okay. Well, Harrison Buckhead spoke his beliefs respectfully and politely.
And so just touching back on something now. Back on something that Scott said, where he said that his speech and all that has got political overtones and political subjects. To him, they're not political; they're theological.
And
it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. The media makes it political. For him, this is just like how he believes how he should live his life. And
he literally used the analogy of my life with my
I wasn't
wife.
talking about the women sort of side of things, but there was a shot to the gays.
Yeah, like that was an unnecessary shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if he meant it like that, and I'd hope to think if you listen back to it, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I probably worded that a little bit."
And that's what I'm saying.
I didn't need to say that.
If you're a position of power and you've got a microphone on you, it's going to get twisted, and maybe don't say that. At that point in time.
Yeah,
to keep the heat off you.
He could have been smarter. But also, like, I kind of respect the fact that he got up there, put his balls on the table, and
stood on business. He stood on business and said, "Hey, I don't agree with people being gay."
Yeah,
I don't have an issue with that.
Me neither.
If you're gay or not, you know me 15 years. I couldn't give a fuck if you're gay, straight, black, white, Hispanic, yellow. I couldn't give a fuck. Are you a good person? You're a good person.
Yeah,
I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, nothing else matters.
Again, he's looking at it from a theological point of view. His religion and beliefs say this, so therefore that's what he does.
We're going to be surprised that fucking religious people are a bit fucking strange.
They're a bit fucking strange.
They're strange cats, man.
They're a bit strange cats.
Yeah. Like, I've met a lot of them. You're like, fuck, you're a strange cat.
The bit that he said about he doesn't agree with people using contraception. I'm like, look, I get it. Like, yeah, okay, your religion says that, but like, also it's 2024,
medically,
dude. You can't just like be going around having fucking 18 kids like you were 100 years ago. It doesn't work that way.
Wrap your dick for once in your life. You might enjoy it.
He's another God-fearing man. Hey, at the end of the day, I don't think he was rude. I don't think he was disrespectful, and I think he was what he was speaking about. He was definitely speaking to the right crowd.
Yeah,
and he approached it in the right way.
The crowd didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Dude, they gave him at the end of the video, they gave him a standing ovation.
No one booed him. No one seemed to have an issue.
They gave him a standing ovation, bro.
And in fairness to him, just move on from it now. But very well spoken.
Yeah, extremely well spoken.
He sounded. He didn't stutter through anything. Said very, very well spoken. the thing is that he just didn't deliver the speech that everyone wants people to deliver now.
And just
That
one
was the
one
problem.
final point that I'll make
Yep.
that he emphasised, and I will emphasise it on my platform as well, with the recent issues that we've been having with violence against women and all these other things.
I'm getting nervous, Scotty.
No, don't be nervous. There's no need to be nervous at all. What he said about society, Western society in general, and men needing to do better and be better. All of the problems that we're having in the Western world right now is because of men not being real men.
Yep.
Real strong men protect and provide. All this violence against women, I'm telling you right now,
Yeah,
it is
it's
not
weak.
proper. It is weak men.
Yeah.
Weak men are doing that,
Yep.
not strong men.
Yep.
Strong men like the men in this room, we protect and provide for our women. We don't disrespect and hurt women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well
Spot
said.
on, mate. Very good. All right, let's get in. So we'll do our, obviously, last episode, we did our AFC. Did they do enough? We went through each team in the AFC. We're going to do the NFC this week. So it'll be, a couple of minutes on each one, 2 or 3 minutes on each one. And we're going to start with the big man, Scotty, who I believe you have the 49ers.
I've got the 49ers straight
shit.
off the rip. Obviously went to the Super Bowl. Had a pretty good season last year. Did they do enough? The additions, we've got Leonard Floyd, 2 years, $24 million. And then they got Devontae Campbell. Departures, this is a big one. So Chase Young.
Devondre Campbell from
Yep.
Packers.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
That is a good signing.
Departures, obviously Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Jason Kinlaw, and Randy Gregory, who are pretty talented guys that didn't really crack the rotation. Drafted
Yeah,
a
I was
wide
gonna say.
receiver and a DB for the first 2 rounds. Lost a lot of talent on defense and question marks with Greenlaw and Ayuk in the upcoming season. They will be dominant this year, but the gap is closing in the conference. I don't think they did enough to separate themselves. I think they'll still be good next year.
Yeah.
But I think they got shortcomings for probably the season after.
Well, as all good teams, contracts start coming.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay Brock Purdy at some point.
Exactly.
Is he going into his 3rd year next year?
4.
I think it's
Yeah,
definitely
will
his
be
third
third,
year. So
yeah.
I would say, end of your 3rd year is normally when quarterbacks, if they're smart and they're good, they start dialing
And he
up
wouldn't
that
have
pressure.
a 5-year rookie
Four-
contract.
only
It'd be
4.
Nah.
No, can't, 'cause he's
4, 'cause
last-
not
And
a
that's an
first-round pick,
interesting
yeah.
point.
might only be 3 if you're after the 4th round.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
probably should have looked at that. But
No, it doesn't matter.
yeah, I think the gap's closing with the rest of the NFC, and I don't think they did enough, but they'll still be dominant next year.
Yeah,
So
A
I'm
lot of
just giving
talent.
them.
I've got a lot of talent on that roster still.
They lost a lot of talent though.
Yeah.
Didn't really
On the offensive side of the ball, they've still got a lot of talent though.
Yeah,
yeah.
They'll still score.
I'm
and
interested to see what
Shanahan's
happens
always
with Ayuk because then they don't want to extend him. They clearly don't want to pay him because if they did, they would have done it already.
sure.
So Ayuk or Campbell, one of them is going to. If this rookie they drafted, I've forgotten his name in the 1st round.
Ricky PSL.
Yeah, Purcell. Like that said, if he
He's
ends up
more of
being
a
good,
returner, gadgety kind of receiver.
well, he's very similar to Debo Samuel.
They,
but he's,
how they
not, he's
compare
a
it.
slimmer build.
Yeah,
though.
he's not as
Yeah.
big. Like Debo Samuel,
Debo's a running back or
Yeah.
a linebacker. Like
Yeah.
he's a big man.
So
But,
I think that there's going to be some changes coming, and they're going to have to play Brock Purdy. But I agree. I think it's so. One thing I learned doing this is that for the top teams, it's almost impossible them to do enough because they can't afford to keep paying all their good players.
Yeah.
So players naturally they couldn't afford to do Chase Young
no,
and all
Eric
those guys.
Armstead.
Eric
Yeah.
Armstead, like they just couldn't afford it. So
Yeah.
they're kind of trying to fill holes with. You talk about Greenlaw. There's some issues there with his contract.
Well,
Campbell
and
comes in and
health.
it's like, and health. Like if Campbell comes in, he's a good solid backup linebacker that
He's a
can fill that
backup.
Yeah,
role
yeah,
and do
yeah.
a job.
There's a
just kind
drop off between Greenlaw and Campbell.
100%.
So-
They're kind of the good teams are almost band-aiding issues.
window
at
is
the moment.
closing.
That's always been the way though.
Yeah.
That's always
100%.
been the way.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So did they do enough? I think they were already dominant, and I think they're taking a step back, and I think the gap's going to close.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I think I agree they'll be good next year, but the gap is definitely closing. Teams
Yeah.
like a Detroit and even like Green Bay, if Jordan Love is who we think he is,
Yeah.
teams are catching up.
I think
I've got
they
Green
did
Bay.
just enough. I think they did enough.
Yeah.
Like for what they could do, they did enough.
It's very hard when you're at the top like that.
It is
100%. All right. I had the Lions. Obviously, the most recent news was they committed to Jared Goff long term, giving him
Yes.
$55 million a year.
Not a bad contract for.
It's
I
like
think it's pretty team friendly.
It's like 3 years front loaded, so
Exactly.
they can get out of it. Oh, look, he played so well for them last year.
Pretty hard not to.
It's pretty hard not to extend him. He's
Yeah.
played well. Their offense is good. I looked at their offense, what they lost. They didn't really have a lot of changes. They added
No.
Kevin Zeitler,
Oh, yeah.
who's an older guard, but they lost Jonah Jackson. Again, they couldn't afford to pay Jonah Jackson like the
Exactly.
other teams are
Yep.
paying with all these other guys. They're
Yeah.
going to have to pay Amon Ra. They've
Yep.
just paid Goff. They want to they re-signed Sewell.
Yep.
They want to keep Decker around. Like
Yep.
they kind of had to let a young guy go.
Laporta's going to be looking for some money in a couple of years.
Well,
Yeah.
he's probably 4 years away from a contract.
But teams that's what teams look at, because they look, I'm going to sign this guy to 5 years. How's that going to affect in 3
down the
years'
track
time
what's
when
going to
I'm
happen?
signing
Yeah.
Laporta and
Yeah.
Gibbs?
Yeah.
So I think offensively, I think they're going to be just as good. If Goff's the same guy, which I don't see why he wouldn't be, because one thing he has been most of his career is consistent.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be a good offense.
And they had a good scheme.
Yeah, and I think in terms of did they do enough? They lost Jonah Jackson. They added Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah.
I think Jameson Williams needs to have a big year going into his 4th year. This is his mate. And let's be honest, it's his contract year. This is the year. If he's going to do it,
He's going to do it. It's going to be this year. Yeah.
So I think the offense will be good. Defensively, and they weren't a great defense last year. People are kind of
The secondary struggled.
yeah,
for sure.
they're almost disguised by like people think they were a good defense. They actually weren't. They
were
generated
very
some
hot and cold.
turnovers,
Yeah.
but they got burned a lot and torched a lot. CJ Gardner left, which I think was the right move.
He went back to the Eagles.
Yeah, he went back to the Eagles. He hasn't really performed anywhere but the Eagles, so I think that was a good move for him and good for the Giants. Good for the Lions. You don't want to pay him long term.
Yeah, well, he clearly didn't fit there, so there's no point paying him long term.
100%. They released Cam Sutton, who was their big signing last year at corner because he's a piece of shit who bashed up his wife. Again, haven't heard shit about that.
Yep.
Heard about it for like one day, and then it was like, oh, they've cut him now.
One day. It was like the 8-hour news cycle.
Yeah,
bro.
it was fucking wild. They traded for Carlton Davis from the Bucks, who's a really good quality starting corner. And then drafted Terrion Arnold in the first round. So they've fixed up a couple of positions.
A couple of needs.
Arnold's a good
address
signing,
needs.
I like.
Yeah, and good to think Arnold. I don't like commenting on draft picks, but I think they're going to be really good or not. I look at value. It was great. Any defensive player in the first 20 picks of this year's draft was great value because the first 14
were all offensive
were
players.
not defensive guys.
Yeah. So you're paying unders for a guy who should have gone.
They got him
at
like pick 18. He was
top 10 talent.
He was the third defender drafted. Like that's how good he was. So the value was really high for defensive guys later in the first round, which was cool. So these good teams have got good quality defensive guys. All in all, I actually think they didn't do quite enough. I would have, as we just said, they band-aided, they put band-aids on their losses, but I think that's all you can do. Like you can't hate on them for doing that, but I just think they maybe could have added Jameson Williams, I'm not confident in him. They could have added maybe another speedster or something like that, like a low-end guy, and they might still do that.
They lost Reynolds, did they?
Reynolds left as well, who was really important to them as
towards the end of the stretch.
as a jet sweep sort of guy, running back, everything. But
short route.
They got Gibbs, Sun God, Goff, Jameson Williams in a contract year,
Laporta.
a really good offensive line, like the best offensive line in football, even without Jonah Jackson. Like Kevin Zeitler's still a solid veteran guy. You could almost argue he's going to be better for that team because he's a veteran leader.
Yeah,
they got good depth at O-line too.
Yeah,
Decker
100%.
and all that. Yep.
I just think they're going to be a really good team still. And they're well coached. They're hard nosed. They're fucking hungry.
Yep.
Aiden Hutchinson's, I think, going to keep getting better and better. I can't see them dropping off. So for that thing, they didn't add a lot, but the trade, Zeitler, little things they did to fix up stuff they lost and try and repair areas that were a weakness. I think
so. They were 12. I just looked up. They were 12-5 last season. I think they're easily set to do that again and win the division again.
I think they might win the NFC. I think they might win the NFC this year.
Yeah, they probably could. Yeah. They could easily win the NFC.
They're in the mix, aren't they?
100%.
They're in the mix.
100%.
They would be the darling team of the NFC.
And I hope they're good.
Because everyone's sick of the Niners already. Fuck the Niners.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're going to have to live with is they blew a big lead to the 49ers last year.
Yeah.
They should have played in the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
Yeah, the 49ers were a bloody good team and they stormed home on them.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what good teams do, though.
And that's what inexperienced teams do as well.
So we're going to find out.
Throat and they don't stomp.
Are they going to let that affect them negatively or positively?
Yeah.
Because that's what happens to teams like that. Yep. They'll either go, well, fuck you. We're not going to let that happen to us again.
Yeah.
Like, we're going, if we get a game when we get up by 24
Well, that's
points,
what the Niners did because they lost that game to the Eagles in the
100%.
championship. And they're like, no, this ain't happening again. We're going to fucking win this game.
Dan Campbell letting that go backwards.
No, I agree.
He's got too much pride and
I think the talk in the off season and OTAs and into training camp will be we're not letting that happen again.
Yeah, that hurt. That won't happen.
It can be a real motivator. Yep. All right, Georgie, your first team.
So I've got the Dallas Cowboys,
who spicy. Here we go.
Were 12-5 last season and obviously won the NFC East. They entered the playoffs as a second seed after an MVP. What could be said was probably he was an MVP candidate.
He actually was second in the MVP. Yeah, there was almost unanimous for Lamar, but I think he got like 3 votes and then Lamar got the rest.
Yeah, okay. No, he had an outstanding regular season.
He's safe.
You can't like. I'm the biggest Dak detractor, and I'll get to that shortly. But his regular season was outstanding.
Yep.
Obviously lost to the 7 seed Green Bay Packers in the wild card round, which was a pretty disappointing result, really.
It's one of not only like
considering
losing and the way they lost.
Yeah,
like
the way
they
they lost. Yeah.
pounded into the ground.
Yeah.
By, like it was demoralizing.
Yeah.
So they've had a few little off-season moves. It was interesting they hired Mike Zimmer as their DC. I thought that was interesting.
Well, he used to be at the Cowboys before he went and became head coaches at the Vikings.
He was at the Bengals.
And the Bengals,
DC
yeah. So he went
well.
from the Cowboys to the Bengals and then went to the Vikings.
Right. Okay.
So he's kind of an old face.
Yep.
I think he's a good coordinator. I actually didn't.
I don't think he's a good head coach, but I think he'd be a good DC.
I think he's the same as we're going to find out with Dan Quinn. I think.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah. So they drafted Tyler Guyton in the first round, which I think was a good draft pick. It obviously addressed a
massive need. Yeah.
Yep. With and they a few interesting signings. Tyron Johnson was a good signing for them. They re-signed Zeke as well, which I thought was fucking bizarre.
I thought about this and I was like,
I mean, they got him for a bag of chips, like fine, but why?
It's kind of fun. Like it's something to root for, I guess. Like, is it? Can I start? Do you think it's that out of this world that he just has like a fucking rollback and rushes for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns?
I think whatever gas was in his tank is completely gone.
Yeah. I don't think they would have let him walk.
Do you know he had more? He was the leading reception.
Exactly. They would have kept him around. Exactly.
He was the leading. He had the most receptions on the Patriots last year.
Yeah, he actually wasn't that bad a player at the Patriots.
He wasn't.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying he's not what he was.
No, he's not. No, he's not a number.
He hasn't
one.
been what he was for quite some time.
Yeah,
no.
But he's going to be forced to play in a role that he's not suited for.
Yeah, I just hope they bought nothing else.
So a few releases. Martavis Bryant I thought was an interesting release. Leighton Vander Esch, obviously for injury, that was sad.
Yeah,
and Michael Gallup as well gone. Thank God, because he's terrible.
He signed somewhere too. I can't even remember where he signed.
I'm so amazed he signed.
Was it Tennessee or
it was somewhere like that?
Yeah,
it was one of the
graveyard of wide receivers.
The fact that we picked him over Amari Cooper, like I know Amari Cooper's not amazing, but he's so much better than Gallup. And and I agreed with it at the time, but they fumbled the ball. Like picking Gallup and then trading Cooper for like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
To go on and just have 2 more 1,000-yard seasons. It's like
classic. That's classic Cowboys.
Yeah,
with no QBs.
Yeah.
So they declined. They declined Trey Lance's 5th-year option. No surprise there. He's terrible.
I was shocked actually.
And they exercised the 5th-year option on Micah Parsons, which obviously they're going to try and negotiate something.
He's going to get so much money.
What do you think he's going to get?
He'll be the highest. Whatever the highest paid defensive player is right now, he'll beat it by 5%.
It's TJ Watt. It's TJ Watt, isn't it?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever it is, he'll beat it.
Or is it Brian Burns get more than TJ?
Yeah, Brian Burns I think got it this offseason from the Giants, which is even more laughable.
That is extremely laughable.
Not that Brian Burns is a bad player. It's just like
the market's just out of
why?
control for that.
It's just the market, because if they hit the free agency, that's what someone's going to pay.
So the question for this segment is, did they do enough? And I think the answer is, I mean, overall the answer is no, but like it's part of a bigger problem. And again, my hatred's a strong word, but my disdain for
your division rival
for the Cowboys is well documented. Yeah. But and I'm trying to like separate myself from that and speak
non-biased,
objectively, not subjectively.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking, if you're just looking at it as like a football person looking at Dallas, I think, and I honestly believe this, and I'm not just saying it because I hate him. I honestly believe that as long as Dak is the quarterback there, then they're not going to win anything. They can't win with Dak.
It'll be a good regular season.
Like love him, hate him, whatever you want. I know you think he's great and whatever, and some people think he's fucking the second coming of Jesus, and some people think he shouldn't be a starter.
Yeah.
My belief is that he's not a winner. He can't win.
He can win with really good talent around.
They were perfectly set up last year. They had an amazing regular season. They steamrolled into the playoffs as the 2 seed. They were flying. They had every opportunity to make a run at an NFC Championship game last year, and they literally shat the fucking bed.
Yep.
They had no business losing that game to Green Bay. And I know that it's harsh to sort of put that on one person. But at the end of the day, when that one person is the quarterback, you're going to wear a lot of the fucking.
You wear the brunt and the success.
You wear the brunt, exactly.
I can't remember the stats, but didn't he have like 40 yards halfway through the second?
Yeah, he was awful, and then he
terrible.
Stormed home in the second half.
Yeah, when it was kind of like
the problem is the defense had all quit at that point. Like if you're the quarterback, you got to take the ownership, and he has taken the ownership.
He did.
That.
He did to his credit. But the point I'm trying to make is that
after you lose, you need to win.
Yeah, exactly. You need to win. And I just, rightly or wrongly, I just don't think Dak's a winner. It's as simple as that.
I don't think. I think the Cowboys team last year, and I've said this, I think McCarthy's not a good coach, and I've always stood by it.
Yep.
Dak Prescott's play last year in the regular season and
Saved him.
CD Lamb having what people are forgetting was like the most yards, touchdowns, receptions ever for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, an
we
amazing
talk
job.
about all the receivers like Des Bryant,
Des Bryant, Michael Irvin. There's
like
a lot of big names there that he's overtaken.
Pearson. Like they talk about these guys. He
T.O.
blew them. Yeah, T.O. He blew them all out of the water last year, and I don't see how they're going to do that again.
Yep.
They had the opportunity last year, and I was the first time I was like, they can do
That
this.
was definitely lightning in a bottle. I think that was their best opportunity.
Yeah, and we had a question sent in actually about the Dallas Cowboys. I'll just play.
Who's
that
this from?
now? It's a secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how's it going, boys? Greg from back in March. Cowboys are fucking all this year. It's our year, boys. It's our year for the Cowboys.
You know what?
That was Greg from Bacchus Mark.
You know what? You know why I
That
love
wasn't
Brock.
Brock?
You know why I love Brock. You know why I love Brock. Because he just tries so hard, and I just love that.
That was
Shout out
funny.
to Brock. Shout out to my boy. I miss you,
He's
Brock.
a standard Cowboys Nuffy supporter, so they're taking it all this year.
Yeah, we're going all. I'm with you. What was his name? Barry from Bacchus.
Gary,
Shout out to Barry.
Yeah, Bacchus Marsh.
All right, Scotty, who you got?
Does
next?
anyone disagree with what I said about
No,
that?
they didn't do enough. I don't said my theory on Dak. I've said it before. I'll really quickly say it. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he needs really good team success around him to be a really good player.
Sure.
I'm also realistic about where he is. He's not a top 5 guy. He's somewhere around the 10th to 15th best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
dependent on
I'd
how
say
good
maybe
he's
8 to 12.
Yeah,
I think-
somewhere around
I
there,
think 10 to
depending
15 is
on
probably a little bit.
who he's got around him and what they're doing. They lost 3 offensive line starters, which is
Yep.
trouble. They
Yep.
don't have a running back.
Yep.
They've only got
Leaky
CD Lamb
defense.
and Brandon Cooks. Their defense got way worse
Yep.
last year. I know they get Diggs back. There's rumors they're going to sign Gilmore again, which I'd like, but they
Hopefully
lost Dan
they'll.
Quinn, who's a good defensive coach who fell apart down the stretch.
Yep.
I think they are. Yeah, I think McCarthy got saved last year, and I don't think Prescott has that in him or CD Lamb. If they did that back-to-back seasons, it'd be unbelievable. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's unlikely.
One thing that goes against the Cowboys is the Giants got a little bit better on defense, and Washington looked like an actual football team.
They got much better, yeah.
So now you've got maybe 2 or 4, we should say 4 easy wins that are not so easy now.
Yep.
And I think
You
that
got a bit
might go
worse.
against-
They got a bit better.
Yeah, the gap just narrowed a little bit.
Well, you've got a crappy O-line now. You got
Yep.
two. You got an
your
average right
crappy O-line
tackle
going
and a
against
rookie
Giants
rookie left
D-line.
and a
tackle,
rookie
yeah.
left tackle. They're going to have Brian Burns and Thibodeau coming off the edge,
Yeah,
and then
and
Dexter
Williams.
Lawrence inside, and
Oh,
yeah,
not Williams.
No, Williams is in
Who's the
Seattle
other-
now.
who's the other one?
And don't forget about Philly's pass rush, which
and then
is,
Philly's defense
which
with
ain't no
David.
slouch.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's just
Speaking of Philly, I've got them.
Oh, here we go.
So additions, we got the Bryce Huff trade. Obviously, basically the same thing as Reddick, just younger and unproven. We've spoken about that. Saquon Barkley, obviously. I've added Devin White, which I think's an underrated linebacker.
solid signing.
Yeah,
I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it.
underrated.
I absolutely loved it
Ultra athletic.
For a
because
position
he's
that
gonna
needs-
he's gonna be there purely as like a cover linebacker, and I love it.
Yep. CJ Gardner Johnson, which we spoke about, who's fell off a cliff and somehow found his way back, and I've put an
And he'll be good again.
He'll be good because he fits our scheme.
Yeah.
He shouldn't we should never have left, or he should never have left.
And I've got the re-signing of Brandon Graham, and I'll get back to that after I get my little spiel in here. Key departures: Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey. Obviously, draft. They've got Quinion Mitchell and the Great White Hope Cooper DeJean.
I want to talk about Cooper as well.
And
Okay.
I've added Will Shipley as well, because he's a little shifty running back who I think will be he will be a very good signing.
I agree.
Here's my little spiel. This is a classic Howie offseason. Once again, the Eagles will be the offseason darlings with shiny new toys, Barkley and Huff, and drafting the best DBs available. But don't forget the absolute meltdown that happened last year with what appeared to be in-team fighting and the potentially quitting on the coach.
Yep.
The loss
Not
of
potential, they did.
champions. Yep. The loss of champions of men and leaders, Kelsey and Cox, will be understated until the pressure is on in December and January. The Eagles have added a lot of talent, but the biggest question will always be, are the inmates running the asylum?
I 100% agree with that.
That couldn't be fairer.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
So I just think there's too much personality, and there's
And
no leadership, and there's
Brandon Graham is a dickhead. Like, he's had a great career, but he's one of the ringleaders.
He's a
of-
proper tool.
He's the one that started an argument with Fred Warner, and Fred Warner turns and said, "Who are you?
Yeah.
How many? They nice 3 plays today, man.
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
3
yeah.
snaps." I'm like, you got to shut your mouth if you're only playing 3 snaps. Dude.
Yep. So you've got Brandon Graham, you've got whatever's happening with AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Well, they've extended him. They've re-signed him.
Yeah.
So
You've got-
he's
How
sticking
long will he
around.
stay happy for?
I don't know.
And then you've got who's the D line that you got last year? who dropped to you from Georgia. I can't remember. Carter.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen
Like,
Carter.
Who's good.
He's
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
but that inmate's running the asylum. He just goes straight into that role. It's just an off season where everyone's going to be talking about the Eagles a lot, and they've added all these beautiful parts and all this sort of stuff, but the core problems that were there last year weren't addressed.
Which I think is Sirianni.
Yes.
I think Sirianni.
I think Sirianni's tenure is on a knife edge at the moment. as
And
we
they
speak.
hired Vic Fangio as the
Vic Fangio.
defensive
Big
coordinator, which
Fangio
tells
and
me,
Callum Moore.
which tells me, hey, if
I
Vic
love Kellen Moore.
Yeah,
I
it's a
like,
good
I
sign.
like the
I
signing.
love that.
Yes.
Barkley will have good numbers this
And
year.
I love Vic Fangio. I love both because remember here on this podcast I said that the OC and the DC need to go and we need to get some fresh blood in.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we've done. Hallelujah.
And Vic
But
Fangio
the
is
head
the
of the
Nick
Snakes still
Sirianni.
Yeah, but that's my point. I think like that by hiring Fangio, they've told Sirianni like, "Hey,
We'll
buddy,
fire you and we'll roll to him.
your
He knows
days
how to do it.
are numbered here. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're out and Fangio's in, and we don't give a fuck."
Yep. I
And
agree.
because he's tailor made for that role, Fangio as
Yes,
well, to
absolutely.
be the DC and the head coach. He's
Yeah.
tailor made for that.
And
I would
that
personally,
city-
I want that to happen. I want Sirianni out. I want him gone.
and in that city
Because if
as
you
well.
lose the locker room like that, like what
Scott.
is saying, sorry, I almost called you Brock then. Sorry, what Scott? Because I agree with a lot of Brock says. Yeah, you think that we fight all the time, and I don't know why. Because I love Brock. Shout out Brock.
Because
I love you, Brock.
Because I watch you.
yeah, I hear it.
Scott said he's right. The inmates are running the asylum, and Sirianni's got no control. So as soon as you relinquish that control, you got to go.
No, fair enough. We had another voice clip sent in regarding the Eagles. I'll play that now too.
Yeah, nah, George, the Eagles are fucking shit. Can't wait for you guys to go fucking 8-10 this year. Not even 8-10, 7-10.
17
Yeah,
games,
shit,
buddy.
How's the bangers in the background?
I
know.
Shout out. I must be on the building
Hey,
site. Barry from Bacchus Marsh.
Shout out to my boy Brock. Here I am talking him up, and all he's doing is fucking
shits on you straight
slinging
away.
shit on me. Like,
Are we shocked?
I still love you, Brock.
Yeah.
I don't
miss
love him
you.
that much.
I
love-
miss you, man.
I love him a little.
No.
Did they do enough? We won't know until December.
I think
Until
they
the
added
cracks
enough.
form.
If we're talking about just did they add enough?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
but-
they did. They had a lot
but-
of talent.
That's what Howie's going to do.
Yes.
He's
Howie's
going
a
to
good
add.
man.
He's going to add talent, and then like it's up to the staff to do and
Which is
the players
his
to
job.
do. Like, yeah, Howie's doing his job.
Yep.
He's probably the only guy in the building doing his job like 100%. Like
Yeah,
really,
probably
if you think
right,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
I love Barkley. I love the signing of Barkley. I think he's going to be really good.
I think so.
and
too.
I think-
and it's a real fuck you signing too.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
you know he's going to want to run it up
in
on the
division.
Giants.
That's worse than when McNabb went to the fucking Redskins. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
All right, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh yeah.
Re-signing
them.
Baker and Mike Evans with the big off-season questions. They got them both done.
Yep.
You pair them with Godwin and Rashad White, who was really good last year, especially down the stretch
Yep.
as a running back, and he's going into like his third year. He's got a couple of years left before he gets too old and broken. I don't think they really needed to do as much on offense. They've kept the same O-line. Baker, if Baker continues to be the player he was last season and doesn't go back to the Carolina Panthers practice squad D-line version of himself,
Jeez.
which is it's factual. He was
Yeah,
playing.
that is what happened.
He was playing practice squad D-line for the Panthers, which is bizarre.
Panthers are a fucking joke.
Yeah,
They
that's
are,
more
I
on the
think.
Panthers.
We'll
than
get to
him.
them later. Don't worry. I've got some fucking sights on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did a good job there. They let Shaq Barrett go. He underperforming. Signed Randy Gregory. I think that's an upgrade.
Yep.
Upgrade. Like Randy Gregory's not
Yeah,
amazing, but
Take
he's
a
talented.
swing on the talent.
Yep. They added Whitehead from the Jets and re-signed Winfield as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Makes him
Winfield's all pro. He's one of the underrated players in the NFL.
Yep,
he's
he's a stud. And then they re-signed Levante David, which I think he's going to be a full. It's not often you play for one club your entire
Tampa,
career.
Yep.
He's a great leader. And then Vita Vea's still there.
Yeah,
People forget
yeah.
How fucking good
No,
he
the
is.
Vita Vea's fucking good.
So
Yeah.
I think the Bucks, did they do enough? Yeah,
Yes.
I think they did.
Yes,
I
they
think
did.
that the two big things were getting Baker back and keeping Mike Evans around. And like
Baker was
Levante
always going to come
David.
back. It was just a case of how much.
Well,
I think they got him on a good price point.
it was a that's. I think they got him.
I
Back
think it's a pretty
cheap.
fair deal.
They got him back cheaper than what I thought.
I think the
other teams
biggest
would.
departure for them was the OC at Carolina now. Is it Canelos?
Canellas. Yeah.
Canellis, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge departure. That
Who they got in there now?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I don't look at the OCs much. I'm
Fair
all
enough.
about quarterbacks.
Fair enough.
Baker, not a faker. But yeah, no, I think they did enough. I think they'll be roundabout. That division's
They'll
not
be mid.
amazing. I know Falcons going to be better, which we'll get to soon.
Yeah.
But I think they're in the running to win that division.
Yep.
I think so easily.
shit division, no one cares.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll get to that.
Oh, all right. You're next, Georgie boy.
Ooh.
The Seattle Mariners. That's what I did there. It's the
No, I
Seahawks.
don't have the. I don't have the.
He doesn't have
No,
the
I have
Mariners.
Seattle. You're the next team. Sorry,
Rams.
that's the next
I
one.
got the Rams.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were finished 10-7 last year and were second.
Surprise team.
Yeah,
Yes.
second. And they stormed home as well. Finished second in the NFC West, and obviously were the sixth seed as a wildcard team. Lost to Detroit in a which was a fucking shootout.
Good
wild
wildcard,
It was a great game, and which was also had that extra storyline of how Stafford going back to
Yes.
Ford Field, in a playoff game. The
Yep.
whole thing was, it was
good.
They
It was
built
a beautiful little script. Obviously lost to Detroit in the end, but again, a good game. A couple of interesting off-season signings. They re-signed Tyler Johnson, which I thought was good. They signed Jimmy GQ as
Jimmy Garoppolo.
as Stafford's backup, which I thought was
No, that's all
weird.
right. Stafford's a bit older, so
Yeah, he's not. Stafford's not that old, bro. He's only 36. He's not that old.
They had to actually keep Jimmy G on the West Coast, so all the mums were available for Wilson's. It's his biggest competitor in the
I was
league.
going to say, did that come down from
Two
Goodell?
mediocre quarterbacks that need half America
Yeah,
and
they
all
got
the
half
mums
already
they
just for all the
fuck.
mums they fuck.
Yeah,
If I'm a mum personally, I'm going with Jimmy JQ.
because he knows what he's about.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you know that like Wilson will get you almost there and then somehow fuck it up.
Somehow,
Yeah.
fuck, just at the point when she says, "No, don't stop," he stops.
yeah, he's done.
fellas, just a quick side note. She says, "Don't stop. Just keep whatever you're doing. Just keep doing it. Don't change the pace. Don't change the pressure. Nothing. Just keep going." That's
and
free.
that's life advice from George Kaddaras.
That's-
You can have that for free.
That's free game for the boys. Okay, if she says
Andrew Tate would make you pay for that sort of shit.
free game for the boys. Whatever. If she says don't stop, just don't stop.
It's pretty accurate.
Aaron Donald, obviously a big retirement.
Huge,
That's
huge
a huge loss.
Hall of
on
Famer.
Deep
Walk in
Yeah.
first
first
ballot.
ballot. Like just give him the bust already, bro.
Yeah.
Did that doing it? Look, they got a solid roster, especially on offense. They got a lot of good weapons as well, like with Cup and Puka Nakua.
And Cup was hurt a lot last year.
Yeah, that's what I was
think
gonna-
he'll
that's what I
come
was gonna
back
say.
strong. I think he'll
They
be
got
better this season.
Karen, is it Karen Williams as well at running
The running back,
yeah,
They
Karen
drafted
Williams,
another
yes.
running back. Like,
Out of Michigan, Karam.
Yep.
yeah.
Karam.
So I think as long as Stafford stays healthy, they still have a shot at a wild card spot because again, Stafford's only 36. Like he's still got plenty of football left in him. If the Rams online keep him upright, there's no reason he can't play until
That's
he's
the
40.
big if.
Yeah, well,
That's
I mean,
the
obviously
big
that's
if,
always
yeah.
a big if.
Yeah.
Like as a quarterback gets into their mid to late 30s, like if he can keeps upright, he can still play. Like
Yeah,
he can still. He's still got a
absolutely.
fucking cannon. Like
He's the
guy
OG
can play.
gunslinger.
Yeah, OG, all right, fucking oath. Cup being healthy will also be a big boost for them because he was missing for a lot of the season last year. So if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, he just adds another element to their offense. And they're in my opinion, they're
You got
a
Sean
shot.
McVay as well, which
Yeah.
is always an advantage.
huge because he's a great coach as well. They're in line for another wild card spot in my opinion.
I think that too. I think injuries were the only reason they drop off.
Yeah,
which is why
100%.
they dropped off last year and then stormed home because Stafford got hurt and then stormed them home when he
Yep,
came back
When he
healthy.
came back, yeah, correct.
And,
yeah,
and
healthy,
Nakua was just one of the most remarkable.
that was an unbelievable
rookies.
season, man.
Oh,
It was incredible.
Insane.
Out of nowhere.
literally insane.
A healthy Matt Stafford, he's a top 10 quarterback. Let's be honest.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So
Yeah, comfortably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
He'd be
I don't know.
he'd be in the same
that-
range as like Dak Prescott, the 8 to
no,
12.
he's better. He's better than Dak. He's better than Dak. He's
What
better than
older?
Dak because he's a winner, bro. He's won.
Yeah, he's won a Super Bowl.
He's
Yeah.
won. He won. He wins big games.
Yeah,
And
but
he-
if we're talking about,
Well, he's won.
we're
one.
talking
He's
about
had one good
quarterbacks
season
next
winning
year.
big
I
games.
don't know if he's a top 10.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he's top 10 personally.
Yep. I think a healthy Matt Stafford.
Would you prefer him or Goff?
Right now,
Stafford-
Goff.
Stafford because he can move the ball downfield
Yeah, I don't know what I'd pick. It just came to my
because
mind.
because there's always that threat. There's always that threat that he can just take the top off the defense. And
I'd
just
probably
throw-
take Stafford just because he's a fucking animal.
That's what I'm saying.
I love Stafford. Stafford's my guy, but I think if you're taking a guy into next season, I think you'll take Goff.
That's fair.
Fair.
All right, next team, Scotty.
I've got the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh,
This
This
was
is
a fun
interesting.
one.
This is interesting,
This
yeah.
is a fun one. So
They've cheekily named the Fudge
yes,
Packers.
what does that
Okay.
even?
okay. Key additions, obviously Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, who was PFF's top safety and had a ridiculous cover rate. Doesn't get interceptions, but fills a huge need for them.
A big mistake the Giants made, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Fucking Giants.
He had 117 tackles last year at safety.
Yeah, he had a really good year.
That is a crazy amount. So
Yeah, the guy's a machine, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Is he between Cooper DeJean and him? I definitely have Cooper DeJean, the Great White Hope. But
Yeah.
I like.
oh, we missed out on Cooper DeJean. I want
We'll
to talk
come back.
about him.
We'll come back.
I
Oh,
want to talk
yeah.
about
We can
that,
save it for
that
the
interview. Yeah.
Key departures. I've got Joe Berry, the defensive coordinator, because their defense was atrocious for 17 weeks.
So it's a good thing he's gone. Is that what
He's
you're saying?
gone. And with him,
True,
they've taken Darnell Savage and obviously Aaron Jones. They just drafted tackles and linebackers to fill needs.
Yep. Good.
Rumors are David Bakhtiari's been cleared and he's thinking of re-signing with Green Bay.
Oh, okay. I thought he didn't want to play on.
Yeah,
he didn't want to play on turf.
He's going to have that everywhere he goes, though. The rumors are that he's cleared and he's so, and then apparently Aaron Rodgers.
That's a
is
huge
here.
in, if true.
If it happens. Yes. Yeah. Huge if true.
Yeah.
Huge, if true.
Packers showed faith to their own guys by re-signing all their core from the year before. The gamble on developing on their wide receiver core and O-line with budding superstar John Love has everyone interested in this very young team. The leaky defense has been overhauled, and once this unit gels, this could be a team no one wants to see. Whether or not that happens this year is the big question. This is a make or break season for LaFleur, as the seat will be scorching hot with another slow start to the season.
Yep. I think this team rides and dies by Jordan Love next year. He's given them life again. And I can't believe that they're going to they're potentially doing it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Why aren't more teams copying that?
If he comes out and has another season like that, like it's just like that's just not fair.
Even like he was really weird because he's like his first third of the season, he was really good.
And then
he dropped off and it was like, what the fuck? They're shit. And then just went on fire.
Yeah.
It was like, you would argue he was the best quarterback in the league down the stretch. And then his playoff game against the Cowboys, he had like Parsons hitting him in the face and he just like jump up, hit a guy wide. Yeah, they were wide open, but that's because when you want to generate pressure, you're going to take that risk of leaving people open. And they were generating the pressure and he was just like, bang. Yeah. And I was just watching like, who the fuck is this guy? He's killing us.
It's not uncommon for a young quarterback to have that lull in the middle of the season, though.
No, not at all.
It's not uncommon.
And they've drafted ridiculously well. Apart from the defense, which they've had, and now they had 11 draft picks and they've just thrown darts at the wall. They've gone for high ceiling players. They've gone for steady players. They've you get 11 shots at it, you're going to get 1 or 2 that are going to be bloody good. So did they do enough? I think they did enough by gambling on their own guys, which showed enough promise last year. If it all clicks, this is the team no one wants to see.
I 100% agree with that. Yep. Like Dallas is the perfect example. They thought they were, and Dallas's record at home. Well, they were fucking.
They didn't lose.
They didn't lose a game, right? Yeah,
Even
I thought so.
It was
like they lost 1 game in 2 years.
Yeah. So and they went into Dallas and fucking steamrolled them.
Stomped them. So yep.
No, I agree. I think Green Bay are going to be really good.
Yep.
I think like them and the Lions are going to have a fucking hot battle, not only for the division but potentially the NFC.
Yeah.
Let's just see if they can get over that lull.
Yeah.
I had the Seattle Seahawks. Your Seattle Seahawks, Scotty. I don't believe the Seahawks have the answer at quarterback in Geno, which is pretty obvious, or Sam Howell, who they traded for, who's a high numbers guy.
I think Geno was always going to be a stopgap.
Yeah, he is.
I don't mind taking the swing on Sam Howell.
But they still haven't drafted a guy, which they haven't been in position to either, in fairness.
That's the problem.
They could have traded up and got Bo Nix, but
when you get a middle guy like Geno, you kind of finish in the middle, so you're not high enough to get a good guy.
And this is the reason
the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NFC.
Yes, and
we haven't been shit enough to get a QB.
Yep, and this is the reason why I find it disappointing for them, right? Their wide receiver group is really good. Like Metcalf with a good quarterback who throw downfield he's huge, the big threat. JSN, who I believe will move more into the number 2 Tyler Lockett role and do a better job of it. Yep. And then Tyler Lockett would almost be the best third receiver in the NFL. Like veteran, solid leader.
Hey, as a trio, that's a pretty good trio.
It's a great trio. And then they've also got Noah Fant at tight end, who's really good.
Athletic beast.
They've got bookend tackles in Cross and Lucas, who, if healthy, are, again, you could argue they're the best tandem tackles in the NFL. There's just not many teams with great tackles.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best, but they're up there. They added Laken Tomlinson, which was a really good, like said, he's a solid veteran guard, ex-first round picks, played at the Niners and the Jets last year. Like, good player, not a superstar, but fit in nicely as a veteran player.
He'll play all 3 interior.
And can play tackle in a pinch as well. That's what I like him. And then they also got George Fant, who's a backup tackle, but can also play guard. Again, who's had a lot of starting experience. They're bringing in experience reps
as well.
Yep. Seahawks went some, I think Jets. Did he go Jets?
Broncos.
Was it Texans last year, actually?
Yeah.
And then came back. I think the key to this offense is going to come down to Kenneth Walker staying healthy. When he plays, they can lean on him. He is one of the best running backs in football when he's healthy. He just hasn't been healthy long enough for us to all realize. He's the barometer of this team. When he can play the way they want to play, they can run the offense the way they want to run it. Geno can hit play action passes down to single coverage.
Geno needs that running game
with great receivers, and they can. I think so. I think offensively, barring the quarterback move, which I don't mind the Sam Howell thing. It's like if in a game he can come in and throw for 300 yards. That might be all you need for some games.
I don't mind taking the swing on him when we had nothing else available.
100%. I didn't hate it.
He
But
threw 4,000 yards in a fucking rabble Redskins team.
Yeah.
We give him
and they benched him down the stretch because
we give him our
turning
receivers.
Yeah, agreed. So I didn't mind that. So I think they did enough offensively.
So who starts?
Oh, Gino.
Gino will start, I think.
Is there a chance he gets beat out at training camp?
No.
There's always a chance, but I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think he will.
Yes, you're right. There's a chance. I think it's Gino's team until Gino starts making mistakes halfway through the season, which he does.
Yeah.
And then the hot seat would be on. And I think Gino was obviously Pete Carroll's guy. They're very close outside of football.
Mhm.
So that was never going to be a thing.
Yep.
New coach, new regime.
Sure.
Everything comes back.
The
Even
slate's
playground?
clean and
Yep.
everyone starts at 0. Yeah, I get your point. Your
Yep.
point's valid.
Yep. And then I talked defensively. They literally swapped Jerome Baker and Jordan Brooks. Jerome Baker's to stay signed from the Dolphins. Jordan Brooks went and signed with the Dolphins.
We lost the trade, I think.
I think the Jordan Brooks is a better player, but I think Baker's a solid linebacker. He's certainly not a bad player.
Probably better against a run, which we really saw. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I think losing Wagner's obviously he's older. I get why they let him walk because he's too old now.
Yeah.
Cutting Adams was a no-brainer. I didn't love the Quandre Diggs cut.
Still a free agent, which is surprising.
I said I wouldn't be surprised if he made a reunion.
Yeah.
It really wouldn't surprise me at all because he's
Jordan
a
Love
good
was
leader.
really good.
Yeah, Love was
He's a
really good.
dog,
Julian
and
Love was
Kobe
really good for
Bryant.
them last year. Kobe Bryant's now moved to safety full time.
Exactly.
We've
We've got dogs there.
yeah, they got plenty of depth.
Weatherspoon.
Yep, and then I've got new coach Mike McDonald. He does great at developing younger players. Witherspoon, Byron Murphy now, Bobby
Sorry.
Maffei, Wallen, who's a really good corner, who's an underrated corner. I don't think they did enough adding on defense,
No.
but I like the fact that they're going, all right, Mike McDonald, he's got young, talented players. Kobe Bryant could barely get on the field the last couple of years because of guys like Jamal Adams and Diggs.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just going, well, let's just fucking invest in this young guy that he might give us more than Jamal Adams. We don't know. We know what Jamal Adams is going to give us.
Yeah.
He can't cover. He can hit and he'll get hurt. That's
Yep.
what he gives us.
Yeah,
Let's see
he's
what
a
Kobe
known
Bryant can give
quantity,
us as
yeah.
a starter.
Yep.
So I don't hate the move. I think Mike McDonald's a good coach and was a good head coach signing.
Yep.
I think they'll be better than they were last year. But again, hard division
Yeah,
with
it's
the
a tough
Rams and the
division, yeah.
Niners. We'll see what happens. I truly believe their season, their barometer will be Kenneth Walker next year. If he can play even 15 games, it will make them a much
Yeah.
better. Because when he plays, and you watch a lot of them, Scotty, when he
Yeah.
plays, they are so much better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Solid run game. is always
We're
a
in
good
every
start.
single game if he's playing. I don't
Agreed.
care if it's 49ers or Chiefs.
And
We're
it
in
helps
that game.
them, especially when you're good on defense like Seattle usually are. It shortens the
Oh, no,
game.
Not for the last 4 years.
It shortens the game. Like you need a good run
Yes.
game. You need
Yeah.
it.
A guy like Witherspoon could dominate next year. Like defensive player of the year sort of guy.
Yeah.
Like, because the way he played in his rookie year, corner is really hard to play.
Well, when they moved him into the slot and then he was just teeing off on running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
he could be
getting-
that
I
guy
was
that's
getting
like,
hard.
he could be what they thought they were getting in Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
That's what I think he could be.
I think we've done the
Well, that
right
was-
thing.
yeah.
We've invested in Murphy.
Yep, Byron Murphy.
Yeah, so we've got Murphy, we got Williams in the
Leonard
in your
Williams, good
nose-
player too. They're very
in your
signed.
nose tackles. So we're building. We've been terrible against the run for 4 years. Wagner is on the end of his career. He'll probably be very good on a team that's got really good D line. We just don't have that, so you got to let him go.
Funnily enough, he's at Washington.
Yeah.
So, spot on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we'll be worse and we'll rebuild, but we have to take a step back out of being mediocre to go forward.
Yeah, it's fair enough. That's fair enough. We'll see what happens there. Kenneth Walker's my guy there, so I'll see what happens there. All right, Georgie boy, you are next.
I've got the.
Oh, sorry. I had to play one more thing. We got one more
Oh.
message from Barry from Bacchus Marsh.
Scotty, you're pretty cool.
Thank you. I like it. I'll take that. Was it Gary or Barry?
Gary, someone.
Badler?
fucking bro.
That's good.
He's,
I like it.
You know what? He's not here, and he's still fucking dominating. How can you not like him? Man?
I didn't like that because that wasn't his villain arc. He's gone soft on us.
No, but he hasn't even addressed the team.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's where he's the villain.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
villain.
all right.
He
That
likes
was very
me.
good.
Team's terrible.
What a fucking guy. Hey, he's ladies. He's single too. Shout out.
We don't know. He's up to
There's
something.
something going on.
No, he's single.
Ooh.
Now I've got the New Orleans Saints, who finished 9-8.
New
Wow.
Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
New Orleans.
Well, shut up. They finished 9-8. Finished second in the NFC South, which is a dumpster fire of a division, and this is a kind of a dumpster fire of a team.
This is an
really.
absolute dumpster fire. I can't.
Yeah,
wait for
like
this.
they're. I don't know. I just. And, did they do enough? What can they like? More like what can they do?
No fucking cap.
Yeah.
No talent.
Zero
Old-
cap,
old
zero
team.
talent. They drafted Fuaga in the first round, which is that was a
Yes.
solid pick. I thought that was a good
Surefire.
pick.
Yeah, had to.
Carr's play really just fell off a cliff. I actually thought he was set for. We said in our preview that he was set for a really big season this year.
He got hurt in fantasy, but it's
Yeah.
kind of the story for him. He just seems to get
his
niggled up.
play
all the
just
time.
fucking fell off a fucking cliff. He was terrible. Like, and the thing is, they can't cut him because if they do, I looked it up. It's 52 million against the cap if they cut him.
Yeah,
Fucking
and they
hell.
can't afford
Just
to
ask
lose
the
any more
Broncos how
cap.
that goes.
Yeah, exactly. So they're likely stuck with him. Like
I think he's
year.
only got one more year.
I think
It was a
this is-
2-year deal, so this is his last year.
year
I'm
coming
pretty
up
sure,
now.
so they can get out of it this year after this year.
So they're stuck with him in the short term, and then I don't know what the fuck they're going to do from there. Like they're going to have to hopefully suck and just get a
Well, they did
get a
draft.
top pick.
Did they draft Bo Nix? Oh no, Denver
No,
drafted Bo
Denver.
Nix. I'm thinking of the wrong shit team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the Saints are like the Denver of the NFC.
Well,
I
that would
feel
be
like.
interesting because they got the same coach.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. That's probably what made me think of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Scotty's in my mind before I am.
Super sub. Just get around.
Super sub. I mean,
Really, no signings of any significance. Like I just think they're just going to be the same shit this season. Like they're just going to be shit.
I think
Like,
Will they be marginally better or marginally worse?
I think honestly, I think they'll be lucky. They finished 9-8 last year. They'll be lucky to win.
I reckon
9
they'd be
games.
lucky to be 7.
Because that
Yeah.
division, like we've already spoken about Tampa, and I'm going to speak about Atlanta shortly. Like that division is getting
they both
better.
got better.
They're getting better. Like
And the
Carolina are
Panthers-
terrible,
The
obviously.
Panthers couldn't get worse.
Yeah, they can't get it. It's only
So,
up for them.
yeah.
Oh no,
So-
wait, they can.
So
The Saints overachieved last season.
Saints definitely
from
did.
being in a shitty division
Yeah, they did.
until Bucks got hot late in the season.
Yeah.
That's Baker started working it out late in the season and
Yeah.
realizing if I just throw it up in the air to Mike Evans, he really catches it.
yeah,
Imagine if the
he's really
Saints-
good at football.
And Rashad White, like I said,
Imagine if the Saints were in the NFC East or the NFC West. They would be a 3-win team.
they'd
Yeah, they
be
would be.
annihilated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said the Kamara is aging not like a fine wine. He's
No,
he's
like
aging like,
running backs
40
really
degrees.
age like a
aging
fine
like
wine.
a cask of wine.
Yeah.
A $7 cask.
$7 goon bag.
Yeah. He's not aging well. And
Fortune,
he's
shout out.
so highly paid. He's the highest paid running back, second highest behind McCaffrey.
Yeah,
He's like
Jesus,
$19 million
still.
cap hit this year, and they can't fucking cut him.
yeah.
So-
How many years left? That's
Two-
a handcuff.
2 more years.
Jesus.
This
Yeah.
year and next year. They can't. They can cut him. I think
They got the rookie last year who showed something. I can't remember his name because it's the 49ers, but the Saints.
did they have Jamal Williams last year
Oh,
as
they-
well?
they
They
had
have him
Jamal
too because remember they
Williams,
ran the kneel in at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston obviously left. Bummer. Poor guy.
Where's he? How's he at now?
Cleveland.
Yeah.
the Jameis show rolls on. Get around here.
Fucking moron, but I can't help but just.
I love him.
I like it.
I
I like it.
absolutely love
He's
him,
like
bro.
your idiot mate that you're watching when you're out and you're like, this guy's a fuckwit. But
Yeah.
God, I can't
He's-
stop. It's like a
He's-
train wreck.
yeah,
Can't stop
look
watching
away.
this.
I love him, bro. And then he comes to me and I was like, look, it was a team decision. We're gonna get the guy.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
a team decision.
I'll
Get
take
around
that,
him,
yeah.
bro. You can't help but love him. I love him.
He
Shout
said,
out
"I'm
James.
sorry. I'm sorry to my coach for going against what he called,
And that's it.
Fuck, man.
You respect him for that. I like that.
I think
Hey,
fuck,
he's still on
fuck the
business. I
Saints
love
though.
it.
They're in real strife.
Yeah, they're in
It's
real
going to get. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. You should. I hope you
I think
enjoyed
it will
last
as well.
season because
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if they somehow find a way to be good
They-
and impressed almost. If
And what are
find
they
a
going
way.
to do with Lattimore as well? They got the gun corner that they're paying.
And again, corners. We've
They
talked
should-
about
they
this.
can drop
Once they
off.
get to like 28, 29,
They
if
should
they
trade,
lose a
they should
couple of,
trade him while he's got value and get some
Exactly.
picks.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you get some cap relief. You get some blood.
and he
into
didn't
the-
play that well last year. Like the decline started. He's not
Yeah.
bad. He's still a starter on almost any team.
Yes.
Not every team, you'd say.
Trade him for fucking the first round pick.
I think you'd get a third for him.
Yeah, that's
because
the
everyone
thing,
knows
the
you're
market.
desperate. That's
Yeah.
the problem
Yeah.
with wanting to trade someone. You need almost someone to be like Lattimore could be the last. Like a team like the Cowboys are idiot enough to
Or
go.
Texans or
Lattimore could be
something.
the last piece we need to go with. Trayvon Diggs and
Yeah.
Or Detroit.
or a
someone.
Texans are like we're
Yeah.
right. Oh yeah, the Texans they go. We need another corner. Let's fucking go get Lattimore.
Yeah.
This is out. We'll give him a second round pick, or even it's going to be the 30th pick. We hope, or the
Yeah.
32nd. We hope. Let's give him a first rounder
yeah.
and let's get him
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
So we'll see though. But I agree. That's pretty solid, George. They're going to be terrible.
Yep.
All right, Scotty.
Is it me?
Yeah,
Oh.
because it went around like this.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Do you know how circles work? You are a plumber. You should know about pipes and
No,
circles.
no.
Yeah, he knows about laying that pipe.
Yeah.
Not about span and centers though.
Just
which
one
was
off.
good earlier.
One off time.
It's not
I
fun.
have the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing gave me more, I don't even know, an anxiety than this fucking team.
They got you anxious. Shit is deep.
So
It's just football, Scotty. Relax.
wait.
I've never seen you so on edge.
Additions: Aaron Jones, who's 29, cool. Sam Darnold, cool.
Yep.
and Jonathan Greenard, who I think is actually a very good
good player.
linebacker. But he's only been good for 1 year when the rest of the team was good. He's missed a lot of time.
And the team that he drafted him and played well for were kind of like very happy to let him go.
Yes.
Like didn't even blink at it. They were like, they didn't even negotiate with him. They were
Yeah.
like,
Ryan's
you go get your money.
Ryan's
That's
has played
never
that-
an encouraging sign.
No, that's why it's very cool. Departures, obviously, Cousins, Hunter, KJ Osborne, which they gave up on. He was a first round pick. See you later.
Yeah, he was late first round pick a few years ago, I believe. Yeah.
See you later. And then Alexander Madison, the starting running back. So they're just
Who was dreadful last year when
Yeah.
he got starting.
Aaron
Aaron Jones will be better than him. That's what I know that.
Yeah, but it's not not something to be beating the drum to.
You're not super excited about it.
Obviously, drafted JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner, which I think Dallas Turner will be very good.
I agree. He's going to be awesome.
This team is a death sentence for any front office. The Red Pill is paying a superstar, and that is an understatement. Justin Jefferson, potentially 4 years, $140 million. Or the Blue
I think
Pill,
I'll trade him. Yeah.
getting a plethora of picks and a few young players and going into a total rebuild. The future is murky at best. And by the way, the team drafted their future QB that dominated college with an average of 202 yards per game.
Because they ran the fuck out of the ball.
So he was on the best team in the country and didn't even win it for him. So I have no faith in McCarthy. I think his stats show that he's.
You haven't liked him for
I didn't even
since
like
college season.
Yeah. The throws it to running backs, he throws it to tight ends, which is what they asked him to do, but he couldn't do much more. I think he'll get found out very quickly in the NFL, and I think they're going to be very dreadful for a long time. They traded up for a guy who I wouldn't have picked in the first round.
No, and I think the Jefferson situation, they should trade him, but I think the trade up and pick of McCarthy is telling me that they want someone in there so they can hopefully Jefferson's like, this dude's really good. Like, I'm going to play with him. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
Whether that's going to happen or not.
And they got
I don't know.
Hawkinson. I can see the path there, but you're
Decent O-line too. Not a terrible offensive line. They're not bad.
Leaky defense.
Dillashaw's a good left tackle.
Yeah. They don't have any strength in any positions of strength.
Other than Jefferson.
But the rest of the receivers are average.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with Jefferson because I think they'll pay him, and that's why they drafted. If they weren't going to pay him, they wouldn't have bothered getting a quarterback. They would have said, "Well, let's just draft the two best defensive guys, Dallas Turner and whoever the guy Byron Jones, Byron Murphy, whoever they wanted," and said, "Let's trade Jefferson now for 2 first-round picks and T. Higgins or 2 first-round picks."
If that's on the table, do you take it right now?
I would, yeah. Well. Because you've just invested in McCarthy now, so you can't just take away their only good offensive player.
T. Higgins, but you
T.
get
Higgins
him
isn't
cheaper.
He's not, and he's going to want money too. T. Higgins.
He's not going to want 4 for 140.
T. Higgins will get $20 million a year.
That's fine. That's half the amount.
Yeah. I think they dealt their card when they drafted McCarthy.
Yeah, and I think they
have to now roll. They
went all in on the wrong guy.
Yeah, potentially.
In my belief, and I hope I'm wrong for them because it's going to be a grim road if I'm right.
Yeah,
tough division too.
Let's not forget you got to go against the Panthers. The Panthers, fucking, they wish.
You got to go against the Packers and the Lions.
The Packers and Lions
every third week. Fuck that.
Good luck.
And the next
and
team,
the Bears.
And the next team they got to go against, which is my next one, which is Chicago Bears, who got a lot better. I've tried to take myself back because I liked Fields and I still like Fields and I think he's got a future.
Yeah.
So I tried to look at it from a, what did you say before? Objectively.
Objective, yes.
And I think the Bears defensively, they took a step forward last season. Jalen Johnson turned into one of the best corners in the NFL.
Yeah, good.
Picking up, trading for Sweat and re-signing him was a great move. He changed the entire defense when he came in. He's not the best defensive in the league, but he's hard at it, intense.
No, he's good, man.
Yeah,
he's good. He gets in the backfield. He's good.
And they added Byard and Owens from the Packers and Byard from the Bills, both veteran leaders that aren't necessarily going to be relied on to be starters, but rotational defensive backs and nickel linebackers, stuff like that. Yeah. I think, they didn't add a ton of star power, but they did that last year when they added Sweat, Edmonds, TJ Edwards,
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. So I think if they keep looking at, if those guys keep trajecting the way they have, I think that defense will be solid, around middle of the pack, right? And that brings me to the offense. I liked Fields, but resetting the quarterback market was the smart move. It wasn't the loyal move. They obviously weren't getting the trade value for the number 1 pick. So they went, well, let's reset. the chances of Caleb Williams being worse than Justin Fields are pretty low. Like, I think Justin Fields wasn't that good. I like him because of his traits and what he could be. He hasn't been that good at Chicago the last couple of years.
He's shown flashes.
The only issue that with the reset is that Fields reset every year and he had nothing there. And they finally gave him something and they just shipped him off.
But that's why I think it's
Caleb
smart,
Williams walks into a way better situation than what Fields
He
did.
100%. So that's Swift, Allen.
But them's the fucking breaks sometimes, you
and
know?
then
Like
getting
that's out of everyone's control.
Yeah.
But it's unfair that they're always going to be compared to each other. But they just never. One guy got given the keys to a Ferrari, and one guy got the keys to a Corolla.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's unfair sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that's fucking life, though.
It
you know?
is. And then they getting Roma Dunze in the ninth pick.
Oh, what
like
a fucking
they can just thank
steal.
Atlanta for that because Atlanta absolutely screwed the
Jesus
pooch not
Yeah,
taking him
they
and
sure did. I'll
taking
talk about
Penix.
that in a minute. Yeah.
I think
Can't wait for that.
I think they absolutely did enough to rebuild this offense. It's hard to say they haven't done enough. They've added talent at every single position.
Yep.
They've got Wright, who was their first round pick last year at tackle, who
Yeah,
had a
gun.
good rookie year
Yep.
and is going to keep getting better as all offensive linemen do. If Caleb
Yes.
Williams is good, which I know we all have our feelings and thoughts on Caleb Williams, which we've well said, if he comes out and he's just a good player, the Bears have got
If
a
he's a
chance.
good quarterback,
Good quarterback, yes.
yeah, absolutely.
The Bears have got a chance to be like they've got a chance to be the Texans of last year.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What if Caleb Williams is CJ Stroud?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be.
No, I'm giving you this scenario. If Caleb Williams is CJ Stroud, how good do you think the Bears are?
They're
I would
probably-
argue they're more talented than the Texans were.
They're in
Okay,
line
but
for a
where
wildcard
are they?
spot.
But where are they in terms of the NFC East?
They're
In the
north.
NFC.
I think they are as
If they have
talented
Stroud?
as Green Bay, but we just have more faith in Jordan Love.
Sure.
If you swap Jordan Love and Caleb Williams, and we're like, Jordan Love's this up and coming star, we'd be talking about the Bears the same way we're talking about Green Bay. We just don't know yet what Caleb Williams is.
Yep.
But
No, but if
talent wise,
he's
they're as good.
I'll tell
as
you what we
Green
do know about Caleb Williams. He likes to paint his nails.
He's a
But
weird dude.
If
Strange
Stroud's, if Williams is as good as Stroud, are they
The second best team. They're a playoff team and they're just
They're a
behind.
wild
Detroit.
card team.
I don't
sure.
think they're a playoff team.
You still don't reckon?
I don't think so. No, I think that
I think so.
no. Who are they taking out from last year? The Rams.
Yeah.
Easily.
The Rams got better.
Mm,
The bar.
no, the Rams kind of stayed the same, and we're relying on Stafford. They got worse because they lost Aaron Donald. You're always going to
Yeah,
get
but they
worse.
had their first round draft pick from the D line. I can't remember his name.
Kobe Turner.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
all pro, and he's a gun. Like,
Yeah.
there-
Yeah, no.
obviously, there's a drop off. But do you think that Williams
If he
gets
plays
them
like
up-
CJ Stroud, they're a
I think
playoff
they're in the
team.
mix. They're in the mix for a while.
they're in the mix, yeah. But I don't think that they'll.
That's a big bow to draw, though. I don't think he's going to be that good.
No,
that
he said
is-
I'm putting an
Personally-
unfair.
Yeah,
Personally, I
that's
think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to struggle. I don't
The
think
Bears
he's going
can't
to
have
struggle.
nice things.
And it's not going to be a talent thing. That's the reason why he's going to struggle. I think he's just going to struggle with being a professional athlete.
And a leader.
And
of
he's got to
men,
win
Yeah.
the locker room.
full-grown men.
Yeah. Whereas I think Stroud is like, because you've made that comparison. So I think Stroud is more of a grown up. He's more of a grown man,
Like dudes bleed for him.
and he's more
Yes.
and he's more mature. And like you can just see it on him, man. You can just see that he's a more mature person. He's a more mature man. Like Caleb Williams is basically like a man child.
I
Like,
never
he's like
saw a
13-year-old
video
kid.
of CJ Stroud fucking around in his Ferrari
No,
2 weeks after
no,
getting drafted. Now,
no.
I'm not saying he didn't. He
No.
might have, but I never saw it all over
No, I
social
don't- I don't
media
see
with
it,
him
though.
yelling out his window at people
But you
while
know-
he's driving
but you-
around his
hey,
Ferrari.
But you know what CJ Stroud is? A good Christian boy. Shout out.
Is he?
They're-
Yeah, he is.
And they got Shane Walden
Yeah, he
as
is.
an offensive coordinator, which is fucking just as bad as what they had before. Though.
I'm not letting you tear me down. Bears are okay. Sorry. To answer the question, did they do enough?
Yes.
What was their record?
Absolutely, they
What
did.
was their record last year?
Well, they were the number one. Oh, no, they had the number one pick because they had the Panthers.
Yeah. So they,
How many games did they win?
They were ninth,
Eight
so
and-
they would have won like
Eight.
six or seven
yeah,
games. Yeah.
something like that.
They had the ninth pick.
They won't win that many again.
You reckon they'll be worse?
If they
Division got
win
too good.
if they win five games, I'll be impressed.
Yeah, all right. We'll see how it goes. So I think, did they do enough? Yeah, I think they did. You're
So
up, big
I've
boy.
got the Atlanta Falcons, who were 7-10 last year and finished third
Atlanta
in the NFC South. I'm going to put it on the table now. I am very excited about these guys this upcoming season. They've probably made the worst fucking draft pick in the last 10 years by picking Michael
Worst
Penix.
value.
Yeah.
At number picking him at number 8 is every time I think about it, I'm just like,
the
I
value
keep
for the
trying to
draft
sell
pick,
myself on it.
the value for the draft pick's fine. It's just that 3 weeks prior they paid $100 million for Kirk Cousins.
140.
Yeah.
160.
no. 4 years, 180 million with 100
180.
guaranteed, bro.
Yeah.
It's 180 million
But
dollars.
what if
That's
Kirk-
100 million.
But what if
Wouldn't
Kirk
they
Cousins
cut him?
gets hurt? We have a backup. But yeah,
I
sign
think-
Gardner.
So obviously, again, the big news was they signed Kirk Cousins in the offseason. Yeah, 4 years, 180
Oh, I
million.
hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So if you look at their offense, it's actually fucking loaded. Like Cousins, Bijan, Drake London,
Yep.
Mooney, Moore,
I like
Kyle
Mooney
Pitts.
too. I like
Kyle
Mooney.
Pitts, I think, and I think Kyle Pitts is set for a big year.
And an
this year.
O-line full of dolls.
Solid O line
Yep.
as well, anchored by my boy Jack Matthews.
One of the
at,
most underrated
left
guys
tackle.
ever, Jake Matthews.
Yeah,
He hasn't missed a start in like 12
I
years.
love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Unbelievable.
The
And
guy's
just
a
solid
stud.
as a rock.
Yeah. And his old man was a stud too.
Yep.
Have they done enough? Not only have they done enough to sew up this terrible division, this division's terrible. They've sewn this division up for the next 3 or 4 years easily. In my opinion, they're now a genuine contender for the NFC.
You think they're that much better than the Bucks?
Yeah,
Do you think a genuine contender for the NFC?
100%, mate.
Oh, that is a hot take.
This offense will put up points, guaranteed.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Guaranteed to put up points. They've got a strong running game. They've got
Mhm.
good weapons on the outside. They've got a solid tight end who will be better with
Well, it
Cousins
can't be
throwing him the
worse
ball.
because
Do you know what?
And,
He was
and
dreadful.
Cousins, you know, where does Cousins play well? In
Not-
the
not
pocket
on prime time.
and under
Under
and
a dome?
No, when you're running the ball and you're
play action.
throwing off play action.
You're wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Oh, here we go. Okay, can I finish first before you tell me why I'm wrong?
I guess so now. You kind of fucking stopped me in my spot. Go, no, you finish.
I think
Dickhead.
Pitts is set for a huge season.
Yep. I like
And
Pitts.
and
They say this every year about him.
He's never had a quarterback.
but this year he's on that revenge tour as well because he's broken up with my girl. Shout out to Kelsey Plum. I know she listens. Shout out to my girl Kelsey.
Who is Kelsey Plum?
No, that was Darren.
That's Darren.
Oh, sorry,
Waller.
I've got them confused. You're sorry.
That's- I know it's hard for a straight white male to get black tight ends. Same, you know.
And obviously a
I,
basketball.
I, want,
knowledge is
I just wanted to
flawless.
mention Kelsey Plum because I think she's hot as fuck. Shout out to Kelsey.
Hey, on your Kelsey.
I think if everyone stays healthy, they could easily be there on NFC Championship Day.
Wow.
I wouldn't say easy.
Okay,
They can be.
you're wrong, and I'll tell you why.
Please
you're
tell me why.
Kirk Cousins is the white Dak Prescott.
And
How
he's
can
done
you
nothing in
use-
the playoffs?
How can you use the analogy of Prescott's not a winner and that's what's going to hold back the Cowboys, and then hedge your bets to Kirk Cousins, who's never won anything? And he
Who's
last playoff
36
game he
coming off?
played, he lost to the fucking Giants.
He's got more talent than what Dak does.
Incorrect.
The
he's,
team?
he's more talent around him. Sorry.
No, more talent around him.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
the
a
team.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
around
that's
him.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
it's unproven.
They
They're
also
all
don't have that good a
unproven.
receiving group. Like Kyle Pitts, yeah, he should be good. Drake London really hasn't
Had
been
one
that
good
good.
year.
Yeah, he hasn't really been
Yeah.
that good. I know he's had bad quarterback play. Bijan, I love Bijan's a dog.
Yeah.
I think, and their O line's good. I think they'll be good. I think they have a chance to win that division. I think it's them and the Bucks that are going to kind
No,
of.
I think they'll steamroll the
I
division.
think NFC is
Yes.
it's a shitty division though. You're right. They could just win. They could sweep the division. There's 6 wins up their sleeve. Like,
Yeah, but then they play.
Dude, I'm telling you, they're going to win 12 games. I'm telling you.
yeah, okay.
They're gonna
Yeah,
win 12
and they'll have a soft schedule because they were so bad last year. But when
Yeah,
it comes
I've
into
got
the
I've got the
playoffs,
strength of schedule
I
too.
think everyone would steamroll them.
In the
Absolutely.
playoffs. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think there's 5 better teams in NFC than them. Just
there's
right
two
now.
teams. There's 2 teams in the NFC East and 2 teams in the NFC
That-
West.
that- just for-
shoe-ins.
just for the record as well, I've just looked it up.
Best strength of schedule.
They've got the best strength of schedule.
yeah, of course, because they're in the fucking shit.
They've got the
They get to play the Panthers twice.
yeah,
man.
they got the best strength of
They
schedule.
get to play the lollipop.
These guys,
deal.
I'm telling, put it now, write it down. They're winning 12 games.
No,
Say
no,
it.
I agree with. They'll make playoffs.
Rock
absolutely.
Jones, please write this receipt down.
No, and you can clip this and bring it back.
1
too, you
hour and
fucker.
13 and 07, please.
You
Mark
can
it
clip
down.
this one too, you little fucker.
That's
All right,
good insight.
next team. We're gonna start moving.
Yeah.
Is this your last one?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I have everyone's favorite team, the New York Giants.
Fuck them Giants.
Fuck the Giants.
Additions: Brian Burns, Devin Singletary, and I've got John Runyon, who's a fucking gun O lineman.
Yeah, he's good.
He's very good. Underrated.
Big white boy.
Yep.
John.
Departures.
His dad played in the NFL too for the Eagles.
Yes.
Also named John Runyon.
And a big white man is a big white man.
Yeah, boy.
Departures. This hurts. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, and I've got Darren Waller in here because it's pretty much a shoe-in that he's going to retire.
Quitter anyway. Quits
Yeah,
on teams.
quitter.
Quits
Yep.
on everything.
Quit on his marriage.
Yeah.
Quit on. That wasn't the first thing he quit on.
Now you got it right that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'Cause that's the black tight end
Yeah.
that was going out with that basketball check.
Shout out Kelsey.
You get
Plum.
him confused. I know it's hard for you. It's
It's hard
straight
for me,
away,
man. I'm sorry.
They drafted
Shout
Malik
out my girl.
Neighbors, who's already trying his best to bet against the NFL betting policy.
Did you see he had a bet with another rookie that he'd win Rookie of the Year, and then after one practice reneged it after seeing Daniel Jones?
Oh wow.
He was like, I don't want to do
No,
it.
apparently he couldn't bet on it because now he's in the NFL. But
Oh,
he's
yeah,
already
yeah.
trying to bet on the NFL, which is fantastic. And
As long
Tyler
as he stays
Nubbin
out
as
of
well.
cars, he'll be
Tyler
right.
Nubbin is a good draft pick in theory. He's a fucking good safety. So they've done all right there. Fuck the Giants. Although this team added talent in areas of weakness, they have one of the best D-lines in football, and that reason alone they'll scrap against mid and lower teams. With the second worst QB room in the league, thanks to the Raiders, this team will continue to be irrelevant until Daniel Jones' guaranteed money is all paid off this offseason. Then the Giants can finally start a full rebuild and continue being irrelevant for the foreseeable future.
Yes, and thank God for that.
And
Fuck
at
the
that
Giants.
point, when the rebuild starts, Burns will be fucking 30.
Yeah.
Thibodeau will be wanting his $50 million a year.
Yeah.
They'll be all too old.
That's yeah, they're absolutely fucked.
Yeah, I don't think they're very good, and that's because they had
They
Daniel Jones.
overachieved 1 year, 2 years ago, and they're right now exactly where they should be. They don't have talent. They've got no strength.
Imagine if they hadn't re-signed Daniel Jones 2 years ago, and now they're doing this stuff, and then potentially they'd signed a Gardner Minshew or like a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
a bridge QB.
Yeah, You'd be thinking, okay, this team's like in
A
the Seattle
QB
breath,
away.
like we're thinking they're not bad. They've got some talent there. They're also, other than we don't know if Neighbors is a good receiver yet or not.
No.
I think he will be, but
I
they've
think
got
he's
no
a
one else
gadgety
around.
guy. He's small framed, very fast.
But their
Those
other
guys-
receivers are shit.
Oh,
Like
they've got no one.
Shepard, he's terrible.
And Slater.
Slater,
he's
yeah.
still on the roster. He's like
I think
32.
I actually think the funny part about Slater is I believe he's holding out because he wants more money from it, and he only had a 700-yard season last year. I saw it the other day and I fucking pissed myself.
Dude,
I
chill.
think he's a solid receiver
3.
for year 3.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Agreed.
he's going to be playing out of position. He's going to be year 2.
Yeah.
So
And Darren Waller or Kyle Pitts, whoever George was talking about before, he's retiring.
I just wanted to talk about Kelsey Plum. I'm in love with her.
You went one too
that's
early.
probably the best thing about the Giants, to be honest.
But Darren Waller's now made
No, Kelsey Plum.
a free agent. Speaking of free agents,
Shout
Kelsey
out.
Plum, she out there.
Hit me up,
No,
man.
she's not. She's playing
Hit
for,
me up.
You are
Vegas.
a married man, George.
Dude, I'll trade it all.
Well, we all heard it here first.
I'm clipping that.
Yeah, clip that.
1
clip
hour.
Clip that and send it to Kelsey Plum.
1 hour 18:45.
Hey,
All right. I got it.
Hey, she's like 6'1". I'm 6'5". We'll make an NBA baby.
Yeah, Darren Waller's like 6'7".
Yeah, but he didn't knock her up. I can.
Oh no, Kyle Pitts. Which one is it? Anyway, I've got Washington. This will be short and sweet. Key additions. They got Dan Quinn as their head coach. Biggest choker in NFL history. That's factual. 28-3.
Yep.
They basically went after every Cowboys player that was out of contract, and Tyler Bowdish, Dante Fowler, and
Yep.
Dorrance Armstrong, who like we're all nice signings. I think Tyler Bowdish is a
They
really
got football
solid center.
players. Yeah.
Yep. They added Jeremy Chin, who I really like from the
Yeah,
Panthers, who I'll
yes.
talk more about when we get to the Panthers.
Yeah.
They had Frankie Louvu,
He's
also from the Panthers, who I'll
Yeah.
talk about with the
He's
Panthers.
a gun.
Bobby Wagner, you said before, Bobby Wagner needs to go and play behind a really good defensive line. Payne and
Hankins.
Payne and
I think it's
always forget his name. I wrote it down. Next page. Fuck, I always forget his name.
This is
It
quality
annoys the
podcast.
shit out of me. Allen. Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think, defensively, they did enough. They added Chin, Wagner, Louvu, Armstrong to
Yes.
go along with Allen and Payne. Good defensive line. Emmanuel Forbes is an absolute fucking bust who they took in the
Yes.
first round last year.
Yep.
Let's see if he can turn it around. I'm not confident.
It's always hard for
Offensively-
first year corners.
Yeah, offensively, I have a bit of a different opinion. As much as I like Jane Daniels, he's a small frame quarterback that's not going to be the athlete he was in college at the NFL level.
Yeah,
No,
because
I'm not saying-
everyone's bigger and faster. In
I'm
the
not
NFL.
saying he's going to be unathletic. I'm just saying he's not going to be the same athlete.
Yes.
He won't be able to just make those
worrying.
plays.
Yep.
And their number one receiver is a sporadic
Yep.
McLaurin, who everyone's like, oh, he's the best receiver in the NFL without a quarterback. Yeah, well, fuck off. He's not. He's
No.
really not. He's up and down, and he's fine, but they don't have a lot after him. They're not necessarily that talented after him. So I just don't think you
They
can add
lost
Jaden
Curtis
Daniel.
Samuel as
Yeah,
well,
I think they'll
yeah.
be very similar to about the Giants. They'll be a strong defense, which like they were last year, which will allow them to beat up on some teams. But
Yep.
ultimately, unless Jaden Daniels is like rookie of the year superstar, and surprises a few people, which I don't think he will be yet, but he's not going to just come in and be Lamar Jackson and save your franchise in one season.
Mm.
it doesn't happen like that.
No, he's got too much against him, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just think they'll be.
They picked
they've
up
added some
Eckler.
good players.
Eckler as well.
Eckler as well as a running back.
yeah.
Again,
Might be over the hill, may not, but he's still better than what they had.
Agreed.
Brian Jones?
Brian Johnson.
Johnson.
Who got shot and
Yeah.
came back quicker than Slant Boy from New Orleans
Michael
came back from a
Thomas,
sore
yeah.
wrist.
Who's still out there?
Got
I
that
believe.
thinking.
Slam.
He hurt his wrist the same time that dude got shot and the guy got shot beat him back.
Yeah. He's
Give
a
us
good running back.
facts.
They added genuine football players, which when you're building a program from the
I
ground
like
up,
Frankie Louvu too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really
a
like Frankie
plug and
Louvu.
play dog.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
plays off-ball linebacker, pass rushes, plays
Yeah.
the run. Like
Yeah.
he's not amazing at all of it, but he's just a solid dude. He's
And they
he's a
did it-
Dan Quinn dude.
Exactly. They didn't get the sexy names. They just got good football players that fucking play hard-nosed football, and that's what you need to do to build a program. I think they're stepping in the right direction. They're 2 or 3 years away.
Yep, I think so too. And as I said, they've got their quarterback. So if he's good,
Exactly.
again, sky's the limit. If he ends up being the dude, you add a couple of receivers in the offseason, giddy up.
They're
You're
not
ready to go.
handcuffed with cap or anything like
No.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's really the fast track to rebuilding your franchise, isn't it?
They
Right,
got
hit a
better.
QB, yeah.
So I think, they did enough. They got much better, but I still don't think they're good.
Yes. They were too far away from being good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
So I got my last team is the Arizona Cardinals. I'll keep it short. They were I'm like my boy Kyler. They were 4. Shout out to the Shore Kings. Shout out Billy.
Thank you.
Kyler, Billy, Wilson, Murray.
They were 4-13 last year, which was good for 4th in the NFC West.
They came home strong, though.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Played
They
hard.
drafted Marvin Harrison at 4, which was he's easily the best wide receiver
Definition of a stud.
in the draft and a proper fucking stud
Yeah.
number 1 receiver. Was definitely a need for them, and I think if they're rolling with Kyler, they've got to give him every opportunity to succeed, and
Yep.
and they've given him a really really good fucking weapon.
They got McBride as well.
Yeah, so they look good. They look good in bursts last season, especially when Murray came back and was healthy.
Yep.
I think a lot of their success will come to not so much Murray's ability, but his availability.
Yep.
Like, because I don't think anyone questions his talent or if he can play. It's just, as we've said before, your best ability is availability.
He's coming off an ACL, though, which is a bit harsh to say that he's not available.
No,
No,
but
no.
he always have
He's
niggling
always
injuries.
got
Yeah.
something, man. Like, and a part of that is because he's just so fucking small. But he's
He's
like,
always got the Wicked Witch of the East chasing him. Like he's got to get to the Lollipop Guild. Like he's always got problems. Dorothy's
Can't-
landed on a fucking house. Like
he can't ride the roller coaster because he's not
Yeah,
above that
like,
arrow.
the dude's
Like-
got problems, man.
Yeah.
Like, we can't help it.
So the other big issue is that obviously the strength of their division. Like,
Yeah.
so obviously you got the 49ers. They're a lock to win that division, barring something catastrophic. Like they're clearly the best team in that division.
Mhm.
The Rams and the Seahawks, which we've spoken about, they're both going to be challenging for wild card spots this year. So it's going to be hard for Arizona to improve on their position from last year. Like if Murray plays 17 games, which is
You wouldn't rule him out.
pretty unlikely, really. Like, it's unlikely that he's going to play all 17 games, in my opinion, based on
Based on facts, yeah.
based on previous performances. If he plays 17 games, they're a 9 or 10 win team, I think.
Mm.
And that's probably about
Yeah, that's
where
fair.
they
Oh,
sit.
I think that's fair. And with Marvin, I love that they stayed in and took Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
I think that took balls to not trade out. They're like, nah, fuck it. We're just going to take
Yeah.
the best
Take
guy
your guy.
available for
He
our
might
dude.
be a 10-year stud.
Yeah, because there were teams wanting to get up, 100% wanting to get up for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no, we're just taking our guy.
So they're rolling with Murray. I think they're doing the right thing. Just, again, if he plays 17 games, they're probably a 10-win team.
But
But
they played hard last year.
Yeah,
that
they
was
did.
the biggest
They
surprise
did.
we had.
they
They had those
beat you
dudes
guys. Yeah.
humming.
Yeah.
Like they
They're a hard, they
They
play
were not
with a
an
hard
easy-
edge.
That's got beaten by talent, not
Yes.
by
not by
hard.
effort.
Not by
Yeah,
work
yeah,
ethic, yeah.
yeah.
They're a hard-nosed team, man. They're going to come. They're going to hit you in the mouth. They're going to
Yeah.
run the ball. Like, if Murray plays well and, like I said, plays all season, they could easily win 10 games.
So
They've got some
they could.
upside.
It would not shock me if they had more wins in Seattle next year. I'm not going to lie. Like,
No, it's it. It's
Yeah.
very realistic. I
Yeah.
said, what if Marvin Harrison Jr. is like Justin Jefferson?
If
Puka Nakua, like that sort of guy.
if
Like,
all things, let's say you put both teams, like you put Seattle and you put Arizona, and you said that both these teams, plus or minus whatever, they're equal, and then it's just who's the better quarterback. Like, Murray's definitely a better quarterback than Geno.
yes.
So
absolutely.
No doubt.
so that's not a horrible take that
Yeah.
they could win more games
Yeah.
in Seattle. I agree.
No, but
With all things being equal,
yeah, I'm just saying that where they were last year and where Seattle were last year and where they're going this year, I wouldn't be shocked if Seattle wins 5 games and Arizona win 10.
I don't know about 5 games. That's a bit harsh. Seattle.
Oh, no.
Seattle. felt
It's a tough
close last
division.
year
It's-
in a hard
Yeah.
division.
It is a tough division.
Tough
That's what I'm
Niners
saying.
bash you up too.
Yeah.
All right, I've got the last team because there's obviously uneven numbers. I have the Carolina Panthers. I want you two to strap yourself in.
Well, here we go.
All right, my
Let's go.
sniper scope's out. I'm ready to go.
Ready? Go hit me, Chris Cole.
War criminal. The Carolina Panthers.
War criminal. He's got a purple heart in the middle of eye, you dickhead. He's not a war
It's all
criminal.
perspective, George. I'm allowed my opinion.
Yeah, but don't you remember?
I'm allowed to not like him.
Yeah, but it's not perspective. Remember, the good, the winners, the people that win are always the good guys. Remember,
Well, they write history.
Sorry,
The
I had
winners.
Harrison Butker on my mind again. Just
Let's go off the
Harrison-
rails. It's been an hour.
Harrison,
Shut up.
Harrison Butt, fuck her.
Shut up.
The Panthers.
Or him.
This team gave up their three best defensive players in Burns, Luvu, and Chin, adding only minor role players to replace them. Clowney is not the answer on this team, and
Nope.
I don't even understand why they signed him. I don't understand what they're doing.
For 2
in,
years.
in some ways, dumping players to save cap for a rebuild and then paying average guards like Hunt $20 million
Yeah.
per season.
Oh.
Why not just give Burns that to Burns and keep a good player is
yeah,
already
you know
good?
he's good. Yeah.
Yeah. They have definitely not done enough this offseason, but it all really means nothing anyway. The damage was all done last year
Yep.
when they traded the farm away for Frodo Baggins to be a fucking
Fucking
goose
Frodo
quarterback.
Baggins, all right.
The one and only goal this season should be trying to fix Bryce Young. If they can't, which I believe they can't, the rebuild will just have to start again.
Okay, pause. Why do you believe they can't fix Bryce Young?
Because I watched him last year.
Yeah. And
I
what do you think
don't
the issue is?
think he's tiny.
They've got
Yeah.
no running
Doesn't
game.
have the arms.
They've
So
got
he's
no
just too small.
O-line.
He's too
They
small.
can't protect him. He's not athletic enough. Like we took Kyler Murray small, right? When
Yeah, but-
Kyler Murray runs, one, he breaks tackles. Two, he looks more athletic than
Hang on,
other
he's-
guys.
But Kyler Murray's
he's-
always
he's-
had an okay receiver and a good running back.
Yeah, but Colin Murray's like a thick, powerful dude, bro. If you
Yes,
actually
I
see him in
agree.
person, he's like
Absolutely.
200 pounds, man. Like he's a thick dude.
He's probably
Bryce
more.
Young's built like
Yeah,
this
he-
fucking
yeah.
this built like this microphone arm.
Yeah.
He's tiny and he hasn't shown. I watched so much of him last year trying to, as you know, George, I tried to defend him
You
in
did.
certain ways.
You did.
And it got to the end of the year and I'm like, I watched him pass for 90 fucking yards in
Yeah.
a game. And I'm like, I can't defend him anymore. But now, if he turns it around and full Josh Allen's it, I won't be annoyed
How?
by that.
How, though?
That's just said. You could see it in Josh Allen because he's big and strong.
Yeah,
but,
he's got the physical traits. That's I've been saying that for 2 years.
Josh Allen's turnaround in his career was, hey, I'm fucking bigger and faster than these dudes. I'm
Than
going to
everyone.
run over these
Yeah.
guys, and then I'm going to develop how to be a better passer by being this athlete.
Yeah, but in order to do that, he needed to be bigger, faster, and stronger than 90% of the guys on the field. And Bryce Young just ain't.
No, and then mixed with the fact that the Carolina Panthers they're caught between rebuilding and fucking thinking Clowney's the answer, and Hunt's the answer.
Yeah, that was
Why
weird.
They've
trade?
got to pay someone.
Why? But yeah, pay Luvu, pay Chin,
Yeah,
pay
I agree.
pay all three of them. You got so much cap and a quarterback that's not due for his contract in 4 years, and maybe probably won't even be on the team from what you've seen. Why not keep these fucking good players in the building?
What do you think happens with Young?
I think he has another terrible year, and he's Zach Wilson. They'll bring in a veteran quarterback, and he'll just become a backup and get traded to fucking Denver to get trickled down.
I think they need to get more talent around him before we can really throw him to the wolves.
I don't often go so strong one way, but I
Scotty,
don't think
I
any
love
amount
you,
of
but
talent-
I've already thrown.
I
him to
just
the
don't
wolves.
think they can put enough talent around him. I don't think he's
Just too small.
physically capable
Too
of
small.
playing in the NFL.
No, it's too small.
He
Yeah,
can't outrun anyone,
I'm
and he's
not
not bigger than
disagreeing
anyone.
with that, but I don't want to just say that he's going to be out of the league
Oh,
in 4 years.
it's unfair, yeah.
I'm saying he's going to be out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, I think that's like extremely harsh because he's got nothing. He's got who's running the ball for him?
I don't know, some dude. Chubba Hubbard.
Exactly. Chubba
Great
Hubbard.
name.
Okay, let me put it to you like this: you swap Stroud with Young. Do you think the Panthers are still as bad, or they're going to be better?
They'll be better, but they won't be. It'd be marginal.
So much better.
They're not going to be a playoff team.
We got to
like
remember
Houston were.
last year the Texans, like Tank Dell, Nico Collins,
So Tank Dell was
they were
like,
nothing.
no.
Oh mate, no one thought Nico
No,
Collins was going to be
Tank-
that good.
They were dudes at best. They were
Yeah.
dudes
No.
at best.
Tank Dell had high draft grades.
Yeah, but he wasn't drafted in the first round.
No,
or the second.
But there can only be 32 guys at a draft.
Yeah, no, as I said, I'm not saying, but I think
It was
Stroud
like
made them
third
better.
round,
Like, yeah, I don't think Adam Thielen and
Yeah.
fucking who I don't know who the other receivers
Exactly,
are.
that's-
Deontay Johnson from Seattle. I don't think they're
Pittsburgh.
They got DJ
thank you
Moore.
from Pittsburgh. Sorry, I don't
Same
think
thing.
they're necessarily.
They got DJ Moore.
No,
Though.
they're
No,
trading
Jordan
them.
Moore-
What
Well,
do you
that's
get?
right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So it's hard to throw him to the Wolves, and I agree he's small and he didn't show a lot at Alabama, but
He showed nothing last year in the NFL. I don't give a fuck about what he showed at college. I don't care.
Just
He showed
to
zero.
certify the number one overall.
Yeah.
But they've got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. Like Tom Brady would fail there.
Yeah, maybe. Adam Thielen, the second.
Adam
great white hope.
Thielen, how old is he? 33?
Yeah, he's
The,
dead.
the ghost of Adam Thielen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look,
they're saying
his
that
point's valid. They
Yeah,
do have
yeah.
nobody.
No. So I'm not
Adam
saying Kyler
Thielen-
Murray. I'm not saying Bryce Young's in a good position.
No.
But his lack of size, talent,
He
that I've
doesn't
seen
help the
in
situation.
Yes,
I think what
It
you're
doesn't
saying
help
is
the
that
situation,
I think
but
you're
he's in
saying
a
where,
worse
like,
situation.
I think what you're trying to say is that where's the upside? Like, how's it coming?
the organization's fucked. David
Yeah.
Tepper's a genuine moron.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
they
fuckwit.
clearly don't know whether they're coming or fucking going.
Yeah.
Why
And
sign
he's
Clowney?
busy pouring his drink on people.
Clowney
anyway.
got more money than fucking Luvu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Why
weird.
aren't you
That's-
bringing Luvu back?
Yeah.
Like, unless they're just like, we're not playing for you. I don't know. But Jeremy
That could
Chin
be-
is a
that could be-
solid fucking safety and nickel corner. And it's just like, peace out, mate. Go and get, like I said, maybe they've just been like, we're not fucking playing for you. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe they just wanted veteran leadership. Like Clowney's a good locker room guy as well. They got to build from
Is he?
somewhere.
I don't know.
Well, you don't hear any bad stuff about him.
That's
like,
true.
He's
Yeah,
well
yeah.
loved every time he goes somewhere.
Yeah,
He's
you're
well
right.
loved.
Everyone's always liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd know if he was shit.
Yeah, he's gone to fucking half the league. Like,
Yeah, he's played for everyone. Except
So,
for-
I
except
don't
for
know.
Cowboys. He'll go to the Cowboys when he's like 38.
Personally,
He's got nothing left.
I think this team is fucked for the next 5 to 10 years.
and this is why you cannot
Nah.
trade 2
5 years,
first-round
they're fucked.
picks.
You can't save it. Yeah, 5 years potentially. But like
5 years.
they could move on from Kyler next year, have the number one overall.
They're not going to move on. They're
Why
not going
do
to
you
put.
keep
I
saying
don't
Kyler?
know because he's
Sure.
another short little black dude. That's why.
See, I'm racially vilifying the short little black dude. You're,
And I'm
you're doing the
tall
big
black
ones.
dude. Shout out Kelsey Plum. I love
And
you.
this is why you can't trade 2 first-round picks to get your guy.
Exactly.
You
This is
can't
why
do
they're
it.
fucked for the next 5 years,
can't
bro.
do it.
You can't do it.
Eagles fucked themselves
And-
with Carson Wentz too.
Yeah,
although
bro.
it wasn't all their fault. He ended up being good for a
And
bit. But
Washington did it for RG3. I
Yeah.
know, like he had injuries and stuff.
Can't do it, man. You
You
can't
can't.
mortgage your future like that. You just can't. And especially on like a little fucking hobbit. You just can't do it, man. Like, how can you look at the kid? The kid's 5'10", like if like
No,
80
he
kilos,
was 6'1" at the combine.
5'10", 80 kilos, dripping wet. Like
Yeah.
you're looking at that guy. This is the guy that's going to save us. He's going to lead us from the mire. Like, come on, bro.
No one's ever
And
going to
like you said, you look at Josh Allen, you go, hey, at the end of the day, at least this guy's a fucking stud. He's a Hulk. He's 6'6". He's got shoulders like a barn door. Like, at least you know, hey, he looks like an athlete.
Shoulders like a barn
He,
door.
look at you see how big he is.
Yeah,
His
he's
shoulders are as wide as a barn door. He's fucking
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Like, at least you know, hey, this kid, like, he's got
If
something.
nothing else, he's the best athlete on the field.
Yes, he's got
Yeah.
something.
Like,
You can
yeah.
see it. It's there. It's palpable.
Yeah,
Look,
he's huge.
look at Bryce Young. He looks like a little kid, man.
Yeah, I think the Panthers going to be fucking terrible.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Scotty, thank you for filling in
Yes,
for our
super
great
sub
man
Scotty.
while he's in his contract negotiations. Brock, we'll talk tomorrow about obviously the contract, and
You
if
might
you
have to
don't
take less money
sign,
now.
George will be waiting outside the door. If you say no, you're fucking dead. So I suggest you just. I suggest you
very
come in the morning, you
strong.
accept your new oddly 13-month contract. I know it's a weird timeline, but we do things in 13 months around here.
That is
apparently.
weird. That is
Yeah,
weird.
yours. We just re-signed you the way you got 13 more months, buddy.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, the reward is that you get to DM my wife. Well, all right, let's get out of here. All right, thank you, Scotty. Thank you,
No
mate.
dramas.
See you in a couple of weeks. Peace out, hombres.
Peace.
Laters.
Yo, welcome to the show. Gather round, listen close. We got George, Brock, and J.A. bringing you the most NFL podcast.